All right, let's get it. Drive time. Friday afternoon, 11 minutes past the hour of 2 o'clock. It's been a nice day. It's been kind of a cool day. Not as warm as we've had for the past couple of weeks as fall is on its way. We're looking at about 88 degrees, clear, a little rain earlier today. Gonna have some nice weather over the weekend. It cools down next week in preparation for game day. It's going to feel like fall next week, including some rain potentially to start the week. But as it is every single day, it's good to have you along for the ride. Spence Checketts behind the mic. That's Porter Larson behind the glass, producing the program today. Happy Friday to you. Congratulations. You made it. It's weekend time. You did the things. You got up when you didn't feel like you wanted to, went to work, dealt with the kids. I don't know, whatever your life entails, keep doing the things, and you've earned your weekend and started out the right way with us. Hopefully you have some fun plans over the weekend, maybe heading out and doing a little golf. Maybe you're heading out and doing a little hiking, walking the dog, whatever you're into. Appreciate you making us a part of your Friday. Here on your home of the Utes, ESPN 700. Speaking of the Utes, we are 8 days away from game day for the University of Utah at the Rose Bowl, taking on the UCLA Bruins at 9 o'clock Mountain Time next Saturday. The TV coverage for that game will be Fox. The radio coverage for the game, of course, is right here on your home of the Utes. Pre-game coverage with our guy Porter, and then game day coverage, Scott Mitchell, Bill Riley, Stevenson Sylvester, and the like. So our broadcast team will have you taken care of. From 8 days on this Friday, we are almost there. We're 1 day away from the start of college football. Farmageddon in Dublin takes place tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. It's Iowa State and K-State, a Big 12 matchup between two of the top 25 teams out of the Big 12 Conference. We'll get you ready for that game and talk a little week zero on the program today. And we're going to check in live in Dublin. Maybe we'll play some bagpipes. I don't know. Feels Irish to me. We're going to check in live with Chris Camerani. He's going to be our first guest from The Athletic, covers college football, good friend of the show. CK will be our very first guest today. Then we're going to bring in the defensive coordinator from the University of Utah. Set your clocks for 3 o'clock. Set your alarms, I guess I should say. It would be weird if you set your clock for 3 o'clock because then you would be screwed up all day. But set your alarm for 3 o'clock to listen to the head coach in waiting and the defensive coordinator, Morgan Scalley, today. We will do a little golf as the Tour Championship continues at Eastlake. They had to push up tee times today as a result of some inclement weather in Atlanta this afternoon. And Tommy Fleetwood had himself a day, as did Russell Henley, continues to play well. We'll give you an update on the leaderboard there, and we'll talk a little Tour Championship and some local golf with Paul Pugmire today. And then our guy Trevor Riley, one of the best to ever do it at the University of Utah, will join us live in studio for an entire hour starting at 4 o'clock. Then we'll launch into the 5 o'clock hour of the program. We'll say goodnight at 6 and bid you a good weekend right here on ESPN 700. So a lot of football top-of-mind awareness. Some uncharacteristic NFL trades. This time of year, you don't see a ton of them. But the Commanders and the Niners made a deal today. Brian Robinson is headed to the San Francisco 49ers. Really good young running back. Niners send a 2026 sixth-round pick. Robinson did not play in the preseason game on Monday against Cincinnati, and it looked like the Commanders may have tried to release him if they weren't able to trade him. Commanders are going to save about $3.3 million in salary cap space. And the Niners obviously need depth at running back because Christian McCaffrey, albeit potentially the most talented running back in the league, has just not found a way to stay healthy all year long. He's made it through camp without an issue, but Robinson will certainly provide some depth in that running back room should the Niners need it. So, some NFL news. Some NFL news on the show today as far as trades go. College football top-of-mind awareness, kind of a quiet couple of days for news here locally as we're just kind of getting ready for the games. As BYU will welcome in Portland State, the start of the young Bear Bachmeier era under center for the Cougars, and Bronco Mendenhall will start his journey in Logan as they welcome in UTEP. So a lot to do on the show. RSL with a randomly busy final day of the transfer window. Dom Marczuk is on his way to Cincinnati. Dom was one of the players that was brought in to try to fill in for the sizable hole left behind by the sale of Andres Gomez and the trade of Chicho Arango, Matt Crooks, Anderson Julio, RSL electing to essentially jettison the majority of their attack last year, which has really blown up right in their face. It was just a dumb thing to do, and they have not found a way to replicate the production. I think they're second to last in the West in goals scored. So Don Mark Zook, who had some moments for RSL, is on his way to Cincinnati. DeAndre Yedlin hopefully will make his debut against Minnesota coming up on Saturday. DeAndre was a guest on the show yesterday. For you RSL fans that may have missed that, it was fun to get to know the newest member of Real Salt Lake. So, Ruan Cruz, Victor Olatunji, in addition to DeAndre Yedlin, brought in to join Diogo Gonçalves and Diego Luna, and hopefully over the final 8 games of the season, they can find some sort of semblance of a consistent attack because it's been pathetic and anemic. There's no other way to say that. So kind of a random, busy 24, 48 hours for Real Salt Lake in addition to all the stuff we have going on with college football and the NFL as well. 8 days away from local game day, 1 day away from week 0, less than 2 weeks away from the NFL. Week 1 getting going. No news on the Micah Parsons situation. That seems to be the one NFL storyline that everybody kind of hones in on. So we've got Chris Camerani live in Dublin, Ireland. We have Morgan Scally to talk some Utah football, Paul Pugmire to talk some local golf, and Trevor Riley also to talk some college football on the program today. Me, Spence Checketts, all of you, the great listeners, happy Friday to you. And that guy, Porter Larson, 1 day away from week 0, 8 days away from game day. We made it, man. We made it. Football season is here.
Dare we say a football Friday on the show?
Sure. I mean, we will talk a little golf, but yes, that's fair to say.
I'm excited for it. Obviously, football season brings a different feel. The leaves start to change. The air starts to change. You mentioned possible rain, Spence. Definite rain next week or so.
Calm down, Al Roker. Why do you feel like to follow up on my weather report all the time?
I don't know. I think at this point I have to. It's I don't know that it's a bit, really. It's just I like to confirm or add context to our weather reports.
Are you privy to weather information the rest of us are not? Because the forecast says like 40 to 50%.
I mean, tell me how many times I've been wrong.
Well, I have to admit I've not tracked your predictions in real time. So
I have.
So have you ever been wrong about the weather?
No.
Okay.
Never.
So you're guaranteeing rain next week?
I guarantee you rain Sunday, Monday,
Sunday?
Tuesday.
No, not Sunday. I've got a tee time. Are you saying I'm going to be rained off the course on Sunday?
If it's a late tee time, you might get the
10:45.
You might get blown off a little bit, but you'll be okay.
What about 10:45?
I think you'll be fine.
Okay.
Might get a little windy.
All right, fair enough. So there he is, the Al Roker of the radio station, Porter Larson, with your weather report on a Friday afternoon. All right, our first guest will be Chris Camerani live in Dublin. But before we get to CK, courtesy of our good friends at Prize Picks on a Friday afternoon, it's time now for your opening tip.
Welcome to The Drive with Spence Checketts on Utah's #1 sports talk. Now into the studios of ESPN 700 to set the scene for the show. The opening tip of The Drive is brought to you by Prize Picks. Use the code ESPN700 and run your game with Prize Picks.
All right, so Prize Picks is hooking you up with what they're calling max discounts this week. So if you have waited to take advantage of the promotion, you're the big winner here. So first step will be for you to download the Prize Picks app today. Just search Prize Picks in the Google Store, the Apple Store, whatever you use. Download that app and then use the promo code ESPN700. And when you play your first $5 lineup, they're just going to dump $50 into your account. So number one, you should take their free money. Use the promo code ESPN700 to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. On Prize Picks, you can run your game all season long. So the first thing you should do is go get their free money and then capitalize on their 2 max discounts this week because they're both easy wins. Max discount number 1. Tomorrow, K-State takes on Iowa State, Farmageddon in Dublin, and Avery Johnson, the K-State quarterback, just has to throw for more than 0.5 yards. 1 yard gets you the win, okay? And then if you combine that with max discount number 2, that's Dak Prescott. Coming up week 1 in the NFL, Dak also just has to throw for more than 0.5 yards. And as much of a laughingstock as the Cowboys are, I think it's a safe bet that Dak is going to throw. Porter, can you confirm that you believe Dak Prescott will throw for at least a yard against Philly?
I have as much confidence in that as I do the weather report for early next week.
So it will rain next week, and Dak will throw for at least 1 yard.
I'm pretty sure on Dak. I think he'll get a yard. Maybe 174 or so.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay, there you go. Well, as long as it's iYard, you win. So there you go, our good friends at Prize Picks. All right, week 0 is here. Coming up tomorrow, Farmageddon, 10 a.m. College football is officially back in Dublin, Ireland. Iowa State and K-State, 2 teams out of the Big 12 that, of course, we'll be paying very close attention to. 2 of the top 25 teams in the Big 12, 2 of the Tier 1 teams in the Big 12 that most people believe will be competing for Big 12 championships. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. And obviously, we are 8 days away from game day for the Utes at the Rose Bowl, taking on UCLA. Utah remains a 6.5-point favorite. That line has remained pretty steady. For those of you that are interested in such things, we will bring in Morgan Scally today. And UCLA, it's just kind of an interesting dynamic. It's more or less a new coaching staff. Deshaun Foster's only been there a year. And then it's a new offensive coordinator. It's a new quarterback. If you read around some of the preseason predictions or come to some of the preseason rankings, UCLA is not thought to be a very competitive football team this year. I like the nature of this opener, as we've discussed. Devin Dampier on the road at one of college football's most hallowed grounds against a P4 opponent. Even though UCLA is not thought to be a Big Ten contender this year, I do think it's the type of opener that you want when it comes to getting to know this new offense, getting to know this new offensive coordinator, and then just kind of understanding rotationally what the players are going to look like. How will the carries be distributed in the running back room where it appears they do have 2 running backs they like a lot? The 7 wide receivers, maybe 8 wide receivers that travel. First of all, who are they? That's number one. Who's going to be traveling? How will the reps be split? And then to see Devin kind of establish early on, maybe some of his favorite targets will be interesting. I continue to be very curious / skeptical about the balance on that side of the football. What sort of percentage will we see as far as run versus pass? How balanced will they be? How dangerous will they be? This was a football team that was an average offense a year ago away from competing for a Big 12 championship. And look, it is fall camp. It's the end of week 3 here in fall camp. And it's the best time of year in a strange way if you're a fan because everybody has hope. Certainly in the landscape of a college football season whether it's Vegas, preseason media, prognosticators, experts, nobody seems to know how this thing is going to go. It feels as wide open as it's ever been. And to me, that makes it exciting. And I'm not just talking about the Big 12 that seems to be wide open every single year. If last year taught us anything, both BYU and Arizona State were picked near the bottom of the conference, and both of them finished near the top, with Arizona State winning the thing. Utah, Oklahoma State picked to finish, at 1, 2, or 3, depending on who you read, and both those teams finished near the bottom. So the wide open nature of the Big 12 appears to be permeating throughout all of college football. Texas is the number 1 team in the country, and they're an underdog in their week 1 tilt, which makes it fun. To me, in my opinion, it makes it fun to try to understand how many dynamics of this thing are completely fluid and confusing and unknown. And then we see how it will play out. Obviously, Texas is in Columbus for week 1 against Ohio State, a massive top 3 tilt at Ohio Stadium, and a bunch of really good games right out of the gates in week 1. We'll see Bama down at Doak Campbell Stadium. Florida State coming off just an atrocious season, but they're thought to really have been able to turn around in the transfer portal. A massive game down in Clemson features LSU and Clemson, 2 top 10 teams. And we'll be able to get a look at some of the Big 12 opponents that Utah has on their schedule and that BYU has on their schedule as well. Week 1 will wrap up at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami with Notre Dame and the Hurricanes, another matchup featuring 2 top 10 teams. So college football will give you a reward right out of the gates, kind of whetting the appetite before conference play. Tour Championship Round 2 is in the books at East Lake in Atlanta. They had to move up tee times today in order to kind of make up for the inclement weather that they're experiencing potentially this afternoon. The weather forecast in Atlanta, maybe Porter can help us out with that, does not look good over the weekend. Scotty Scheffler struggled today compared to the field. He did shoot 1 under, which we would all love, but his 69 drops him 4 spots. Scotty is at 8 under par. He's 5 off the pace. Tommy Fleetwood had a great day today, 7 under par. The best round went to Cameron Young, who was 8 under 62. That's the second best round so far, only second to Russell Henley's 61 in round 1. Russell shoots 66 today. He's also at 13 under. So it's Tommy Fleetwood, Russell Henley, 13 under, Cam Young, 11 under, Bob McIntyre, Patrick Cantlay at 10 under. Then there's Scotty Scheffler alone, tied for sixth at 8 under par. A grip of really good golfers, including Rory McIlroy and Justin Thomas at 7 under. So it should be a fun weekend for the Tour Championship at Eastlake. Speaking of a fun weekend, experience a celebration of cannabis culture, music, and community at the first annual Canna Fan Fest set in the heart of Salt Lake City at Granary Live September the 27th. A one-day festival of live musical performances featuring Crooked Kings, Changing Lanes, Anella Brown, and more. Visit ESPN700sports.com for the full lineup of performances, ticket links, and more. All right, we'll catch a break. We'll go live to Ireland. Coming up on the other side, Chris Camerani is our guest. Then it's Morgan Scally, Paul Pugmire, Trevor Riley off and running on a Friday show. Happy Friday to you. Keep it right here on ESPN 700. Not going to lie, I was hoping for some bagpipes or something, but I'll allow the Cranberries. They are from Ireland, and they are one of my favorite bands from my youth, from high school, I think, in the 90s. So I'll allow it. Was this you or was this our guy, Christopher?
An Irish band.
Yep.
Really good song.
Mm-hmm.
Really good radio bump.
Mm-hmm.
A guest request.
Love it.
And as you mentioned, on the theme, the Irish one.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. All right, we go to Dublin, Ireland, where we find our guy, Chris Comrani from The Athletic on a Friday. CK, how we doing, man? Set the scene. What's it like over there?
Well, it's nighttime. I'm in my hotel room, and I'm watching Irish rugby on my telly.
Very nice. Very nice. What's the weather like over there? What's the weather like this time of year?
It's been fantastic the last 2 days. Like, I hit the jackpot. It's been 65 to 70. Haven't needed a coat, shorts and a t-shirt. I've walked probably over 30 miles in the last 2 days, just taking in the sights and hitting all the necessary places. It's a treat, man. Like, I wouldn't want to be here when it's cold and windy and pissing rain, but I am going to take advantage of what I have in front of me, and what I have in front of me is sunny Dublin.
Gotta love it. So over the course of the past 48 hours, have you seen the sights? Have you done the tourist thing? Because I know you had some boxes you wanted checked over there, yeah?
Yeah, I've done a little bit of both. Obviously part of my assignment here is trying to get the flavor of Americana, basically invading Ireland for 48 hours. Not only do we have this college football game, but WWE SmackDown is also in town. So I went to the 3 Arena to check out the folks who are getting ready to go to SmackDown tonight. It's been a trip, man, to say the least. But yeah, I got to go see Trinity College, which was amazing. Got to see lots of cool churches. And one fascinating thing about Ireland is they make you pay for everything. And I'm too cheap to pony up 20 to 30 euros to walk into a church. I can see it from the outside. It's old. I've seen lots of churches in Europe, but I'm just at the point in my life where I don't necessarily have to fork over the money. And it hasn't slowed me down in that sense. I've been able to just kind of take some sights in and move on to the next. But it's a really cool city, really beautiful architecture. They've blended the old and the new very, very well. And my hotel is, within walking distance of Aviva Stadium, where the game is tomorrow. So I have no complaints, which is rare.
That is very rare. K-State is a 3-point favorite over Iowa State tomorrow. So 2 Big 12 teams, both in the top 25. Will you be covering the game with a certain angle in mind, or are you just trying? Are you just trying to kind of see what the reaction is to the folks over there to college football? What sort of prism will you be watching that game through tomorrow?
Well, I'm going to only react and write in the prism that can captivate somebody like you, who is my target audience. So there will be breakdown of, very key moments of the game, personnel, shifts, motions, all the types of things that we talk about and we are experts at. No, I'm definitely making a very bad joke. No, to me, the fascinating part of this whole thing, Spence, is how this has become not only a routine on an annual basis for college football, but it's going to continue. And by all accounts, it's been very successful. I think this is the best matchup that they've had since starting this classic a few years ago. It's a top 25 matchup. They haven't had that. Last year they had Georgia Tech and Florida State that didn't travel very well. Between the two teams, it's estimated to be upwards of 25,000 fans who are in Dublin between Iowa State and Kansas State. And I was at the Kansas State pep rally today, and it was insane. Like, there are so many people here from both Kansas State and Iowa State. The prism will be paying attention to a top 25 game. It's one of the oldest rivalries in college sports. I think it's 109th or 110th straight time that they've played each other, which is I think one of the oldest running rivalries in college football. And just, the scenes, and, I'm all about the scenes and the vibes, and, it is unique here. to say the least. I stopped by an Irish high school football game tonight because they play those here, and you can buy beer and espresso at the games. A little different than covering high school football and Draper on a Friday night, but yeah, just kind of the dichotomy of what football represents in the States versus the potential growth overseas is kind of what I'm looking at the moment.
Do you know the origin story, how this kind of came about? It is a little bit of a random location for a college football game. And, the NFL CK for a number of years has discussed the potential of wanting to capture the European audience. And I don't know if there's anything here as far as drawing a parallel. Part of it kind of feels similar to the way folks who believe soccer will catch on over here at some point. And soccer certainly has its footprint, but it will never capture the hearts and imaginations of as many Americans as football has. And I don't think there's any way that football will ever capture Europeans the way that soccer has or football over there. But are you familiar with the backstory, how this game kind of came to be in the spot that you find yourself in today?
Well, if we want to go really far back in time, the bedrock of this, the start of this, is when the NFL had its first international game in London in 2007. That was a big swing by the league. A lot of people didn't think it was a good idea. A lot of people didn't think it would work. And I think if we're talking about kind of the one-off, meaning like once or twice or even 3 times a year, from an NFL perspective, it works, and it has worked. They've played games in Germany. They've played games in London. They're playing games for a second straight year in Brazil, starting the season. So the appetite internationally for a minimal amount of football games is there. From the Aer Lingus College Football Classic, as it is known here, Spence, is organizers with Aer Lingus, the airline, and folks just approached people in the U.S. and said, like, this is an untapped market. It is a pretty enticing destination vacation spot for a lot of Americans because of, obviously, we have such a deep Irish culture embedded with so many. I mean, I'm sure you have Irish ancestry. I have Irish ancestry. Pretty much everybody most people in America have Irish ancestry. So it's a very popular tourist spot. So they just sold it, say, like, come on over. And obviously when Notre Dame was here, that was kind of the belle of the ball. And frankly, I think they should try to make Notre Dame like part of, this rotation more often than not, because it just makes sense. But, they approached Kansas State, I think it was 16 months ago, and talked to Chris Kleiman, the head coach, and Gene Taylor, the athletic director, and said, like, would you be interested in giving up not only a home game, a conference home game, but a conference home game against probably your biggest rival outside of Kansas? And sold them on it. And by all accounts so far, it's been a hit among the fans that decided to come. And I mean, anytime you can sell out a European stadium for any sport, it's going to be cool. I think tomorrow will be especially unique just because the setup of the field. I mean, they're playing at Aviva Stadium, which is where, Ireland national teams for soccer and rugby play. So it's a beautiful stadium. It's just up the road. And I think it's going to remind me of, like, when I was covering the Olympics, like in Brazil. Just, I think the vibes there, the setup of stadiums internationally are a little different. So I'm fascinated to see how it plays out.
Did you pack the sticks? Are you going to play Royal Portrush? I mean, Ireland isn't far from the home of golf, which is Scotland. And as you know, when the game expanded, it expanded into the UK, including Ireland. Did you have a chance to pack your golf clubs and your Antonio Daniels jersey and your farming glove to maybe play some of those courses over there?
Well, I don't know if you know this, Spence, but there is a big body of water between Ireland and the British Isle, which contains 3 different countries. So if I wanted to catch a train, I couldn't. I'd have to catch a flight to head over to Scotland, albeit to say I did not pack the sticks. I'm not a big fan of these, open courses. I'm more of a tree. I feel like I need to be boxed in. Otherwise my depth of vision is too wide. I feel like my typical slice, might slice a little harder if I don't have trees blocking my way. I'm just more of kind of an old school, Utah golfer, as you know.
Yeah, no, I know. Plenty of good courses in Ireland, but maybe your next trip over there, you can pack the sticks. All right, let's move over here. So for years and years and years, I certainly have complained about it, and I know other people have too, and plenty of people that write for your outlet believe that scheduling uniformity should be mandated in college football. And the SEC for years has had this odd dynamic where like week 10, Bama schedules like Troy or something, and it's like a glorified bye. Well, following the announcement that the CFP committee is going to use these new scheduling advanced metrics to decide who's going to gain access to the CFP, the SEC has announced that they are going to go with a 9-game conference schedule starting next season. Brett McMurphy is reporting now the ACC is discussing the same. The ACC is now the only P4 conference that doesn't go with 9. Long overdue, in my opinion, and I've said this before, I'll say it again. I believe we're heading in a direction with college football where most of the cakewalk games that are scheduled, if not all of them, are going to go away because TV partners want the best matchups every week. It's certainly the one thing that college does not have that the NFL does. The NFL every week, even though there are teams in pro football that are down year to year, you're still playing a NFL team. You're not playing like a USFL team. You're playing a team that's supposed to be on your level. So what do you make of the SEC's announcement? And do you think at some point we will have some sort of scheduling uniformity in the sport?
Yes, I think because if the SEC did it, everyone else basically has to follow suit. It is a fascinating kind of turn of events because I think for the longest time the SEC was fairly adamant that they did not want to go to 9 games for obvious reasons, just because you're talking about the strongest conference in the country. You don't want your big guys to have a chance to be suffer a late season upset and maybe tumble out of a playoff spot that you covet so highly. But listen, there's been lots of random college football news in the last, 72 hours since I've gone. Apparently the Big Ten is proposing like a 28-team playoff now. My head, man, I'm just trying to be here in the homeland, just trying to really sink my toes into the sand, but college football fails to stop moving, which is not, I'm not too happy about, to say the least.
Well, and I talked about this yesterday. Brian Rolap, friend of the show, he is now the commissioner. Well, no, excuse me. He's the first CEO in history of the PGA Tour. He spent 22 years next to Roger Goodell at the NFL. Most people believed, and maybe this will still be the case, whenever Goodell is done, most people thought Rolap would be the next commissioner. BYU guy, family friend, so I've been able to get to know him a little bit and interview him a couple different times. He is a very impressive leader, and he addressed the media prior to the Tour Championship at Eastlake, and he used the word innovation and, being innovative like 4 or 5 different times, discussing his vision to capitalize on this moment golf has found itself in with all this attention worldwide. And to juxtapose that with the lack of foresight, the lack of leadership of college football just seems to change for change's sake as opposed to innovate to improve the product. And I guess the reality, Chris, is that, the powers that be in college football, even though no one's really in charge, which I still believe is the biggest issue on a number of different levels because all these conferences can kind of just go rogue, but they know they've got the consumer. They know that college football fans week in and week out are going to tune in and consume the product. They know they've got us. And if you add on the layer that over the past 4 or 5 years, the widespread acceptance of sports betting has even upped the interest level because there's so many degenerates that take out second mortgages on their home to place a bet on, Farmageddon or whatever it is. They know they've got everybody. And so therefore, I don't feel like they really feel urgency to actually fix the issues that plague the sport. The 28-team expanded CFP is like the dumbest thing that I've heard even thrown out there in years. And they've thrown out a number of dumb things. It eliminates conference championships, and it dilutes, Chris, the most, in my opinion, appealing thing about this sport, which is the prescient, urgent nature of every single game. To me, you have to maintain that, or else you do away with what makes this sport great. Does that make sense?
Oh, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I've said on the show often the last couple years that it makes no sense for the powers that be to relinquish any sort of power they currently have, because what you said exactly, the consumer has shown their willingness to adopt and roll with the punches no matter what. Um, Listen, man, I'm always going to point to that example of that, that massive super league that got proposed in Europe a couple years ago, and whose fans like boycotted the games. It wasn't the little guys, it was the Manchester United fans, it was the fans of the super clubs that would have benefited from this. They were the ones that were up in arms. Fandom doesn't really work like that in the States. So I think so long as the folks who are at the top will continue to stay at the top, I don't think that they'll have a problem with it, no matter what, so long as they have a chance to compete for a national title, which has also been part of the news cycle too, because apparently Auburn decided they've won 7 championships or something too this week. Like, listen, man, I understand that this is a long off season, but this week has really shown us that we just need to get to some games because people are kind of acting out.
The other, well, not just the other, one of the other reasons why college football needs a governing body with a commissioner is to put in place a comprehensive media policy that every team needs to follow. So I continue to compare college football to the NFL on a number of different levels because I do believe we are headed towards a model that looks like that. In the NFL, fans can attend practices. Media can attend every practice. There are player and coach availability after every single practice. The NFL understands that the media is a conduit to sell the teams and sell the leagues to the consumer. If you juxtapose it to college football, they all act like a bunch of scared children, and they're just terrified at all times. And they want to control everything they possibly can, and they come across as just constantly being worried that some bad story is going to derail everything. I mean, Deshaun Foster is the latest UCLA head coach. Utah's playing week 1. He's cut off access to players and coaches' interviews after practice because he's afraid that these these interviews are going to be leaked to his opponents and somehow give them an advantage when they play head to head. Why is it that in college they can't just understand what the pros understand, and that is media helps sell your program to your consumer, as opposed to having just this constant state of fear, this constant state of being afraid that one interview here or one video there is going to blow the whole thing up. If there's a governing body in place with a commissioner and an entire staff, they put a media policy in place that everybody has to handle. Until they do that, program by program or conference by conference continues to try to exude this monicum of control when ultimately I think it blows up in their face.
Yeah, I mean, listen, man, you're speaking my language. You're playing that Irish flute across the pond. I'm loving it. Well, there's so many different layers to this conversation. One, I think college football coaches would say because they call them kids in quotation marks, they don't know what they'll say, if they're prepared to say what they say. But I don't know what the difference is from a 21-year-old graduating from college and becoming a 21-year-old pro. And, that's part of the conversation as well. Like they stay pretty much the same age. But the other part of this, and it's just, can't be understated enough, is that like when you become an NFL player, you become part of the players union, and a union and negotiating this type of stuff into union contracts, into these CBAs, all this stuff is top of mind for both sides because they know what they're getting into. And the media part of this is a huge component of it. But from the NFL's perspective, they know it makes sense for them. And the players, albeit they don't probably love having people in their locker room all the time, but it's just part of the job. I agree. Like we've talked about, there's like this sense of state secrets that are, at top of mind every single week come season time. And I know with the advent of the Big 12 injury report, like that is, a new wrinkle in this whole thing. It was funny. I was at Chris Kleiman's press conference yesterday, and one of their beat writers asked him about his thoughts on the new Big 12 injury report, and he kind of just laughed, and he was like, I know who's out, but he basically said, like, Matt Campbell's not going to go read my injury report to try to get like some behind the scenes view of, who may or may not really tilt the fortunes of the game. I think it's a good step, but again, everybody is going to be able to utilize it one way or the other. I'm going to keep referencing things that have happened this week, even though my brain is mud. But apparently, Kyle's not going to release a too deep now because of the injury report thing too. Which, hey, whatever. You got to do your thing. But yeah, I mean, I think it dilutes the excitement. I think you just have a huge opportunity to go out there and basically take control of how you can have your sport and how your team can be viewed, kind of the way the NFL does. I'm not saying like there will be college football fantasy but maybe there will be. I mean, like nobody ever really saw like the changes of college football coming in the last 5 years and as swiftly as they have. But let's just say that it isn't as hard as they make it out to be. And if everybody just cooled their jets and, I don't know, sat in the sun a little bit, take a breather, everybody could realize that it is a game and you'll be fine no matter what.
The paranoia it's pathetic. It's like laughable. Maybe a cold plunge, potentially. Maybe a cold plunge. Maybe
Wim Hof breathing. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
3 full rounds, 35 breaths each. Then you retain and then you release. I do it every morning. All right, Chris, you referenced the news cycle since you joined the show. There's been a couple of announcements locally that I wanted to get your reaction to. Let's start down south where young Bear Bachmeier will be the first true freshman to start for BYU in their opener, the 7th true freshman to get time under center, but the first to start under center. He did not land in Provo until mid-July. He was at Stanford for spring ball. And, I was asked the other day, like, is this an indictment on the room? And I said, no, I think it's a compliment to the kid. And if you listen to A-Rod, he kind of tipped his hand early on. He was very effusive with his praise for Bear. But what do you make of this announcement that a true freshman will be starting for BYU this year under center?
Great name, great jersey number. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's some like Doug Flutie stuff right there. I don't think I can ever think of a college quarterback having a number above 19 in eons. So good on Bear. Listen, BYU's quarterback situation changed dramatically because of the school that they're at, and that is the reality, bottom line. I'm going to continue to beat this drum that like losing Jake Retzloff is a loss from a leadership perspective because he was so beloved in the locker room and had so much respect from the coaching staff. But Jake wasn't exactly like lighting up like every single team that they played last year. So now your fortunes do change potentially with a true freshman quarterback stepping in, but he was a very highly sought after recruit. And who knows, maybe if all of that stuff with Troy Taylor doesn't go down at Stanford, maybe Bear decides to stay there. Like I think if Bear turns out to be a great quarterback, that's very beneficial for BYU. It's really too hard to say like whether or not it's an indictment on the quarterback room because like we still haven't seen anybody step out there and play yet. So if Bear goes out there and struggles, then, if you're a BYU fan, you can hypothetically say, like, why wasn't there somebody more prepared? But if he goes out there and he handles his own and he looks ready for the moment, then people won't even remember that was even a topic of conversation.
We've known for a while who QB1 is for the Utes. We now know who QB2 is. And I suppose if there's a silver lining to Cameron Rising's inability to stay healthy a year ago, it's that Utah has a backup quarterback in Isaac Wilson with Big 12 experience. 7 starts, 9 games played. Bert Ficklin will be the third stringer. Now, Coach Beck said it's 2A, 2B, whatever that means. But Isaac is the backup. What are your thoughts on that?
Man, the phrasing to me is just hilarious. Mm-hmm. It makes sense that Isaac is the backup quarterback. He has clout built with that locker room with Kyle. I know it's a brand new offensive coaching staff pretty much, but obviously Devin Dampier transferred in alongside Jason Beck, so that's his guy. Isaac, we talked about this. I remember we were at the Smiths on 9th South when it was going to be Isaac's turn to start, and so many people were so excited. And I said, just kind of pump the brakes a little bit. Let's see how he does. And there were definitely some growing pains. And I don't think you can put much of any of that really on an 18-year-old true freshman. Like, Utah failed collectively last year as a team, especially offensively. It wasn't all on Isaac. So if you're Isaac, he decided to go into the portal. He probably got a lay of the land and figured, it makes sense for me to come back. Assuming Devin Dampier has a good year this year, he could potentially test the NFL draft waters, and then Isaac would be the presumed starter going into 2026. So we've been talking about QB2 at Utah for, I think, way too long, regardless of who the starter is. So let's see if Devin Dampier can stay healthy so people can stop worrying about who quarterback 2 is.
What do you think success looks like for Utah week 1 at UCLA? They're a 6.5-point favorite.
Ooh, success at UCLA is obviously a win. I wish I could even venture a guess offensively, but I have no idea. I guess I'll say Devin Dampier and his jolly room of running backs rush for over 200 yards, and Utah's defense holds Nico in check, and they leave an old stomping ground that they haven't seen in a few years happy. But it's the first game of the year. You never know how everybody's going to come out, especially this Utah offense, which we've talked about. It's way too early to crown them. Like, we haven't even seen them play a game yet. And who knows, maybe UCLA is revitalized after a very down year. And with, landing Nico, maybe their offense is ready to take a step forward as well. So,
you ever considered getting a neck tattoo?
Actually, I have, yeah.
I think you could pull that off. I think you're one of
Which
the
side? Not the middle.
Are you right or left-handed?
I'm right-handed, so I'd probably go left side.
Yeah, so left side if you're right-handed. I was thinking what media members could pull this off, and really it's only you and I.
You're right.
Well, the reason
Not Porter?
No, Porter could pull it off, especially with the long hair.
And the cowboy hat?
Yeah, cowboy hat, long hair, neck tat for Porter. But, there's no way Falk could. There's certain people that just couldn't pull it off. The reason I bring it up is DeAndre Yedlin, guest on the program yesterday, new right back for RSL. 32 years old, so certainly not in his prime, but really fun interview. Seems like a really good guy, and definitely a very interesting soccer pedigree. This is a spot that they've been rotating players from Fruit Heights in for a long time, and Bodie Hidalgo is on his way to Montreal. So they've needed to fill the spot, quite frankly, since they jettisoned Aaron Herrera. But you're the expert here. What do you make of DeAndre Yedlin here in Utah?
Yeah, big move for them. I mean, the days of Andrew Brody and Bodie Hidalgo are over. They've tried to patch that spot up as quickly as they are, or as badly as possible, but they haven't been able to. And now I think Noel Caliscan has been pretty well served in that role as a kind of an emergency right back, but his natural position is playing in the double pivot. And I think now your depth chart is, DeAndre Yedlin 1, Noel Caliscan 2. I think RSL's needed a adult in the room, so to speak, and I don't think they have a proven MLS adult that's willing to stand up and just maybe take a locker room by the scruff and tell them what's what. Now they have landed Rafa Cabral, who's been a great leader. Johnny Russell is an MLS veteran, but I think DeAndre Yedlin is the type of player who has both the domestic league pedigree, the national team pedigree, and just kind of the type of personality that the team needs right now. And woke up to see that they loaned Dom Markzuk as well, which, yikes, man. I mean, you have to give Kurt and his staff credit, because they realized that the moves they made were not good, and they had to do something, and they didn't sit on their hands the way they did last offseason. So, I think so many fans thought that Markzuk was going to be kind of the second iteration of Andres Gomez, a a highly touted young international winger to come in and potentially develop and be the next star sold. That did not turn out to be the case. Like, dude did not have great body language this year. You could tell that he was probably not too happy being passed over in minutes by Xavier Gozo and Johnny Russell, who they signed off the street. But he's going to a team that's very good. So if he gets a chance to play there, maybe he'll look a lot better than he did at RSL. But he's playing on a team that probably can win the Supporter Shield and MLS Cup. So when you go to a team that's full of really good players, you often can look good too.
I actually think Mark Zook has a chance to really look good in that system. You know, there have been a lot of moments that he's shown his skill, but it just hasn't been consistent enough. And if we're honest, you know, as we look back on their decision to jettison the majority of their attack, it has blown up right in their face. Now, to your point, they've realized it. Looks like the Millers are willing to spend a little cash. So we've got Ruan Cruz, who we've seen a couple of different times. The Olatunji kid has had a couple of appearances. And I'm told they think DeAndre will play tomorrow, but there are only 8 matches left. And, you know, 3 brand new pieces that will be part, I think, of the first choice 11 need to be integrated quickly. Is this enough time for them to get across the line, make the playoffs, and maybe even do something? What do you think?
I don't think so. I think the schedule is too tough. You have Minnesota, who's second in the West. I think on Saturday you face LAFC twice. I think you got a trip to Seattle. They just haven't shown it, man. Like I you know, things could change and maybe they cultivate some momentum against Minnesota on Saturday, but I think you're asking too much of a team to try to rectify the mistakes of earlier parts of the season on the fly, and that's just too hard to do with new players. But you know, MLS is crazy. I know they're still within striking distance of that 9th spot, and I don't think they'll go into a free fall, but until they figure out a way to score goals, like I just don't think they have a chance.
Have you tried an Irish stew, lamb or beef, some boiled bacon, cabbage? Have you tried a full Irish breakfast? Have you tried any of the lovely dishes that you can sample over there in Dublin?
I have not. No. I have to look out for my guts first and foremost,
Oh,
and
yeah. I always forget
you
about
know,
that.
and you know, you're in a new country. You don't know where's you know, where the next potential stop might be. You know, public restroom. You got to learn the lay of the land. So you all just got to map things out, Spence. Like I have to think 2 or 3 hours ahead. So I play it safe when I'm on the road. Let's just say that.
What about a pint or two over in a
No
pub?
pints,
No pints.
no pints,
No
1 or
pints.
2. I'm also I'm an old man, dude. You know this. Like I'm older than you. I'm older
You
than
are
all our
not
friends.
even
Like
close
I,
to my age.
but you know what I mean.
I do.
Okay. So like the fact that it's 10 o'clock here and I'm on the radio with you goes to show how much I am, you know, a supporter of the drive Monday to Friday, 2 to 6. But like, this is my bedtime. And yeah, I could be out having a pint, a Guinness, and it would probably send me mentally, physically into a space where I don't feel all that well in the moment or tomorrow. And I got to work tomorrow. You know, I have to prove to the Athletic that there was a good reason why they sent me across the pond. And maybe we'll see if tomorrow's an especially good day. Maybe after the game, we'll strike a pint somewhere. But it is wild here, man. Like everybody is slamming beers. Like olds, youngs, hipsters, like, and they're just getting after it, and it doesn't even seem to phase them. And I'm like, man, good for you. I wish I could be that person, but I'm not.
Well, the other thing is, and they start early. I remember I had a connecting
Yes.
flight to London, and I was in Amsterdam at like 7:30 a.m. And there were guys in the pub getting loose at like 7:30 a.m. with beers. They start early and they go all day.
And everybody here just looks like, you know, I mean, everybody here has been fantastically nice, but you know, just kind of the stereotype, like maybe you know, they look like they could always be in like a boxing position too. They got the haircut, you know, the Conor McGregor thing going on. So I just you know, don't want to step on anyone's toes or bump anyone's backpack. Just minding my P's and Q's.
What about what's on the when you're flying there? It's a long flight, flying home. What shows are we watching? What's taking up the time?
Oh man, just lots of random movies. I watched Ferris Bueller for the
Nice.
millionth time
Nice.
on as one of my five films on the way over. Don't know what the movie selection will be like on the way back. I'm hoping that I'll be tired enough that I might be able to sleep, but that's a fool's errand because anybody who can sleep on flights is an alien. If
Hmm.
that includes you or any one of your listeners, I apologize. Actually, I envy you because that is a superpower that I wish I had.
I cannot sleep on flights unless I'm heavily medicated, but then I land and I'm like a zombie for 2 days. So, anyway, Christopher, we will set you loose. Enjoy Dublin. Enjoy week 0. Thank you for the time and safe travels.
Was Zombie an ode to our friends, the Cranberries? Is that what we did there? Bringing it back?
Not intentionally, but a good callback, CK. You've learned a lot of good lessons on this program, young man. Be well and travel safe, okay?
Appreciate you.
Chris Comrade from The Athletic. He's live in Dublin as week 0 gets going with Farmageddon coming up tomorrow at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. It is K-State and Iowa State. Kansas State is getting 3 points as your favorite there, so college football is here. Like any good coach, it's time to update the game plan for a healthy green lawn. As the hot weather continues this month, make sure you're using IFA's Step 3 Summer Lawn Food for healthy turf that stays green in every season. IFA's Step 3 Lawn Food. It's the ultimate lawn owner power move at IFA. All right, coming up on the other side, defensive coordinator, coach, and waiting for the Utah Utes. Morgan Scalley is our guest. We'll bring in Paul Pugmire today to talk some tour championship. We have Trevor Riley live in studio for an entire hour. Busy Friday show. Happy Friday to you. Keep it right here on ESPN 700. All right, Friday edition of The Drive rolling along. Always fun to welcome in a good friend of the program, defensive coordinator for Utes, head coach in waiting, Morgan Scally. Excuse me, Morgan. Happy Friday, buddy. How we doing?
Man, Spence, you sick or what, dude?
No. Just, when you do this for 4 hours a day, every day, on Friday, the voice starts to go. You know the drill. I'm sure at some point.
Hey, I was going to say you sound like me after a Tuesday practice.
That's what I was going to say. At any point, do you lose your voice after barking the instructions to the team?
Usually it comes in fall camp, and then the voice is ready. The voice box is ready for the rest of the season.
Well, you would think after doing this for 20 years, my voice would be used to it, but I guess it's not, buddy. Well, look, I know you don't have a ton of time, so let's get into it. First of all, thank you sincerely. 8 days out from game day. Just give Ute Nation a message, man. How are things going up there?
Oh, fired up, excited. We're healthy for the most part. Love how fall camp has progressed, the competitive nature of offense versus defense. I think we're ready to hit another colored jersey besides our own. So, going into it, we had our question marks on defense. The D tackle spot was a question mark, corner spot, depth there was a question mark, and I think we've done a pretty good job of solidifying who's going to help us, and feel pretty good about the depth we have there.
So let's start there. How is that D tackle spot coming? Obviously a big loss for Keanu. He's down at BYU. So how is that defensive line shaping up, Morgan?
Good. We needed a couple things to happen. We needed Dallas Vakalahi to progress, take on a leadership role, kind of own that position group. Aliki Vimahi, the two vets that have returned. We needed Jonah Lea'ea to put on some pounds. This is a guy that we've tried to groom and develop, and he's finally there. I'm really excited about him and his athleticism now that he has the strength and the weight on. And then the freshmen are kind of, a pleasant surprise to have these guys step up. Pupu Sepulona, Carson Kafusi, Semi Talanga, you got Dylan Battle, and Sione Motuapuaka. All those guys, could be ready for us to play year one. Now, only, a couple probably will need to use, but you know how this deal goes. Anything can happen. Injuries are a part of the game, and you got to have some depth.
Yep. Unfortunately, we've all learned that lesson the hard way over the past couple of seasons, no doubt. And look, everybody says football is a contact sport. No, it's not. It's a violent sport, and no team stays healthy all year long. I suppose, we all say the same thing. We don't worry about your defense with you and Coach Witt, your track record, and the standard is the standard. But as far as that second cornerback spot, Cam Calhoun's a Crimson Tide. How's that coming along? What's that room looking like?
Very good. Had some good transfers come in, a couple that joined us early for spring, and then a couple that we've added late in the mix. Scooby Davis is a lot like Jonah Lea'ea was, although Scooby probably got more time than Jonah in terms of the development. We needed to have him put on more weight, become stronger, be more durable, and he's going to be a starter for us. So excited for him. Smith Snowden has only gotten better, has added the outside element of his game, playing outside corner as well as having played inside corner for us. And then you take a look at Donovan Saunders, who transferred from A&M, Blake Cotton. These are names that are going to help us tremendously. Jeremiah Caldwell. So a couple others that still need some development. But I feel much better really going into this season than I did last season about the corner position.
So since we have already talked about the depth outside of the frontline guys, and you've discussed some of the names, do you feel confident that – and look, I'm knocking on wood because none of us want injuries, but it's just part of the deal, man, as you know. Do you feel like you can weather that storm should it come your way on your side of the football?
Oh, brother, I don't even want to talk about it. But yeah that's again, big part of spring ball is development. Big part of fall camp is solidifying who's going to be a part of that travel group. Another guy I didn't mention is Jackson Benny, who came on and had an unbelievable offseason. He was a big contributor on special teams, but this is a guy that, a lot of Ute fans are going to be fired up about because he's going to be making plays. So add him to the mix. His versatility, he can play safety, he can play nickel, Rabbit Evans can play nickel. He can play strong safety. Teo can go down and play corner. So really that's what you're looking for, or when guys go down, because it'll happen. Do you have the versatility to put the best 11 on the field, or are you shortchanging, by putting a guy that may not be in as ready? He just knows the position better, but we'd rather go with our best 11.
UCLA, an interesting opener at the Rose Bowl. It's a new quarterback. It's a new coordinator as well, as Tino Sunseri is the offensive coordinator. I don't know how much. I would imagine we're about to launch into very specific game prep, and I'm sure you've been, operating fall camp with one eye on the Bruins. I've been asking all of the guests this, Morgan. I'll ask you, what does success look like for you game one? When you're on that plane flying home from the Rose Bowl, what will success feel like to you?
Just playing to our culture, running to the football, playing with good fundamental technique, playing situationally smart football. I mean, obviously there's going to be mistakes that are made. A lot of the big plays that we make on the defensive side of the ball really have to do with relentless effort, guys running to the football and playing with some physicality. So, that's kind of been our calling card. And if we play to our culture, to me, I can deal with the other stuff, but we have to, play physical, smart football.
Tell me what you've learned about the Bruins. What makes them dangerous? They're in the midst of, I'll just call it a pivot with a new coaching staff a couple of years ago. And like I said, a new offensive coordinator, really good, talented quarterback. Big news out of the Tennessee transfer situation. What do you know about UCLA as of now?
Well, obviously I did not, I knew of the quarterback. I didn't know much about his game. So after, watching a ton of film on him, very impressed, not only with his ability to spin it, but when he runs the ball, he's not soft. And he's not a guy that looks to go down. He's tough. He's tough-minded. So they got a good one in Nico. So the receiving core that they have there includes Mikey Matthews, who we know is a slot receiver coming from us to Cal, and now UCLA has him. They've got a couple other wide receiving threats that are really good. The O-line is going to be, in my opinion, their work in progress. You take a look at our D-line as our work in progress. That's offensive line is going to be their work in progress. But the quarterback and skill players, including the running back transfer from Cal, who's a dynamic kid as well, that's going to be the strength of their offense, in my opinion.
This last week when Devin Dampier said, hey, sometimes I have 8 seconds in the pocket, my first thought was, well, that's not going to make Morgan happy. Obviously, you guys were an average offense away a year ago from competing for the Big 12 championship. Tell me, from your vantage point, this new revamped offense under Jason Beck with Devin under center, how's it looking to you, Morgan?
I'm excited to watch him. Excited to watch him work. The offensive line obviously is a huge strength. The skill players that we've brought in, Devin's leadership. And let's be honest, he's got 8 seconds because we can't touch the quarterback, dude. It's not like we can sit there and get after him and practice. But no, he is so competitive. That's what I love about him, is that competitive drive. And he's not overconfident. He's not cocky. He comes to work every single day, and he earns that right to be confident. So add to that the schematic elements that I love, the shifts and motions, the formation into the boundary, the Q run game, all the different things that Jason's doing. Really excited to watch these guys work.
All right, before I set you loose, ultimately the past couple of years as a result of lack of health has not been what we're used to, because you and Coach Witt and, the coaches up there, you've set a standard that I know you guys take seriously. What gives you the most confidence? You do not have the target on your back that you did a year ago as far as everyone expecting you to win the thing. I think most people believe you're going to be good. I certainly do. What gives you the most confidence that this year will look different than year one in the Big 12, Morgan?
Well, I go to work looking to win one game, brother, and I'm dead serious with this. I think you do yourself such a disservice looking beyond. Obviously you want to know that you're going to be competitive and know that you've got the right pieces to be competitive. I feel like that's the case here with both offense and defense. I feel like we've got the right personnel. We just got to do a great job of playing smart football, and it is going to require some luck, man. I mean, the years that we won the championships, our guys stayed healthy for the most part. And you look at the 2004 Fiesta Bowl team that I played, the starting 11 at the beginning of the season, we're the starting 11 at the end of the season on the defensive side of the ball and primarily on the offensive side of the ball as well. So the Sugar Bowl year. So it does take a little bit of luck, but you also have to be smart the way you practice and compete against each other. And we've definitely done that this fall camp and heading into the season. So just excited for game one, dude, and not looking beyond that.
Well played. I'm looking at my inbox, and do I need to resend you my cell phone? I mean, one invite to play some golf during the off season, I don't think is too much to ask for somebody I've known for like 25 years. Do you need me to resend you my cell, Morgan?
Oh, dude, hey, listen, trust me, you're not the only one that has not been playing golf. I've been able to play primarily with one guy, and that's Sharif Shah. And, a couple rounds here or there, but ultimately my summer was with my family. I got a daughter that graduated, and we went on some vacations. But we do need to get together, brother. We do need to get together. You take care of that voice box, okay? And during the off season, we'll make sure something happens.
Yes, sir. Thanks for the time, man. Best of luck at week one and all year long, okay?
All right, brother. See ya.
All right, Morgan Scalley, defensive coordinator for the University of Utah. We are 8 days away from kick. The Utes will be at the Rose Bowl to take on UCLA. They remain a 6.5-point favorite in Vegas. Don't forget that game will kick off at 9 o'clock Mountain Time. Television coverage is on Fox, and, of course, the radio coverage is right here on your home of the Utes, ESPN 700. Coming up on the other side, we'll switch gears. The Tour Championship is going on in Eastlake in Atlanta. Paul Pugmire stops by to give us the latest on a Friday edition of The Drive, and it's good to have you along for the ride right here on ESPN 700. We got Trevor Riley live in studio today. Talk some Utah football, some college football, and a big day for Trev and his group coming up tomorrow. So we'll tell you about that. Stay tuned, 4 o'clock hour style. We are one day away from college football. We'll get back to some college football in the 5 o'clock hour. Chris Kamrani is live in Dublin, Ireland, Farmageddon, K-State, Iowa State tomorrow, less than 2 weeks away from the NFL. But the Tour Championship is going on in East Lake. They had to, I guess I should say at East Lake in Atlanta. They had to push up tee times today for some inclement weather this afternoon. Home of Bobby Jones. Our next guest joins us on a weekly basis to talk about the world of golf. My buddy Paul Pugmire on a Friday afternoon. Paul, happy Friday, sir. How are you?
Doing great, Spence. How are you doing?
I'm good. I have to start with a confession. You're going to be mad at me. Are you ready?
Yes.
Last weekend, I went to visit my brother and his wife and their 6 children. A lovely family. Had a great time in Indianapolis. And as I landed, he said, hey, I've got a surprise for you. I said, what's that? He said, well, Live Golf is here. And Scott O'Neill, who's the CEO and the commissioner of Live Golf, back in the day worked in Madison Square Garden. He is a BYU guy, a member of the LDS Church. My family knows him very well. And so Scott was able to get us some passes to go to the Live Golf event in Indianapolis, which I did. And I even had a decent time, Paul. Do you forgive me?
Oh, no forgiveness needed. I went to a Live event when they were in Las Vegas last year, and they treated me really well, and it was a good time and really instructive. I still don't think it's a championship model, but it's a good time. And you do get to see some really amazing golfers. I mean, some of the world's best are at Live. I'm glad you got to do it. And let me just say here, isn't it cool that both Scott O'Neill with Live and Brian Rolap with the PGA Tour, a couple of BYU guys running those 2 tours? That's really cool.
Well, here's the other thing, Paul. They know each other, and like they have a lot of mutual friends. So, look, I know it's going to take a minor miracle at this point with Live being established the way that it is to bridge some sort of gap, but at least Jay Monahan and the powers that be at Live, Greg Norman, they didn't even want to be in the same room. Brian and Scott are friendly. They know each other. I don't know if that means there's a deal on the horizon, but at least we have 2 guys in charge of these tours that are familiar with each other. That can't be a bad thing.
It's got to be a good thing. I completely agree with you. I think Monahan made a mistake in not taking the call back when all this was first happening. But he doesn't consult with me, and but I agree with you completely. It's got to be nothing but good that Rolap and O'Neill can sit down and have an adult conversation.
While we're in this space, we had the first opportunity to hear from Brian Rolap, the new CEO of the PGA Tour, prior to the start of the Tour Championship. I mean, he's given some other interviews. Like we had Rex Hoggard on yesterday, and Rex was able to catch up with him right after he kind of took the job. He's only been on the job 3 weeks, but this is a dynamic, sharp, bright guy who is the mastermind behind the bevy of revenue streams created by the NFL with their live television deals, streaming, and otherwise. And he said, among other things, quote, the goal is not incremental change. The goal is significant change. And I do think that makes certain people nervous who love the history and the pedigree of the PGA Tour and things that make the tour special, as opposed to things that maybe might be changed that might make some people uncomfortable. But the fact of the matter is, Paul, golf has a moment right now that it has to capitalize on, a moment that it may have never had, quite frankly, in the history of the sport with all the interest worldwide. I mean, we've already talked about my complaints of 6-hour rounds and inabilities to get tee times here locally. But look, ultimately, this type of attention can only be good for the sport. What did you make after listening to what Brian Rolap had to say to the media contingent at East Lake?
A couple things jumped out at me, and all the points you make are really good points and really good observations. The thing that jumped to me the hardest is that this is a man who is comfortable and confident saying, I don't know. And that's a rare quality in a leader and in a person that people are looking to, and there's a whole bunch of cameras in his face. But he was willing to say on different topics, I don't know. This is not my area of expertise. I'm learning about it, or other people are going to take that particular point and run with it. I was impressed with that. And one of the effects that has is, well, there are several. First of all, it makes you trust him more when he says, I do know. And when he says, I do know, it makes you really want to stop and listen, because you're thinking, okay, this is what this guy is expert on. I'm going to listen to what he has to say. I was very impressed with his presentation, as a leader, as an executive. I was very impressed with the way he handled the questions that were being thrown at him. And I was impressed with the content. He says, we're going to be making big change. Yeah, you're right. Now is the moment. It might be an Arnold Palmer moment or a Tiger Woods moment, but it's a moment. And this is a chance to really build things right for the future. And I think this is a guy who is willing to make hard decisions and make things right for the future. I'm excited.
He's also announced the formation of a championship committee led by somebody named Eldrick. Tiger Woods will serve as the chairman of the future comp committee. The other names, some caught me off guard. I mean, Patrick Cantlay, Adam Scott, Camilo Villegas, and then Maverick McNeely and Keith Mitchell. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I was just kind of surprised that those were the names on the list. They're going to bring in the former energy chairman from Valero, Joe Gorder, John Henry, who's the principal owner of the Fenway Sports Group, and then Theo Epstein, who is the man behind the resurgence of both the Red Sox and the Cubs. So I wonder what you make of that list of names, the competition committee that will be kind of in charge of enacting some of this change.
I want to start with the bookends of the list you just gave of Tiger Woods and Theo Epstein. And then I'm going to come back to Maverick McNeely. I think these are the three most important voices in the room. Tiger Woods, because he is Tiger Woods and no one else is Tiger Woods. It's all self-evident. Nobody will command attention to the degree of Tiger Woods, which means that when he has something to say, the entire ecosystem of golf will stop and listen to what he has to say. That's vital. Theo Epstein, for the reasons you just summarized, this is a man who has twice, not just once, either the Red Sox or the Cubs would have been a career-defining achievement, but he did it twice, and he redefined cultures and changed the arc of entire organizations in a successful way. This is a guy who has undeniable top-level experience of taking things and turning them around and making them better. And now there's just flat a winning culture, both in Boston and on the North Shore. And so then let's go to Maverick McNeely. McNeely, of course, is the son of Scott McNeely, who is Sun Microsystems. And he was raised in that environment, raised in that house. He is a graduate of Stanford, but Maverick is developing his own reputation, not based on his father, on his own ability to analyze data. And I think that really, really will matter, because you've got somebody who is really good at analyzing data, but he also is walking inside the ropes every day, including this week. He made the field at the Tour Championship. And I think Maverick McNeely will be a really important voice going forward. Oh,
good context. I didn't know that. I had no idea. So that makes a lot more sense, because it felt a little bit random without understanding that context. All right, Paul, before we get to the Tour Championship, before we get to the local golf scene, a couple of other topics I wanted to kick the tires with you about. Since you and I last spoke, Scotty Scheffler won a tournament, because Scotty Scheffler wins tournaments. And look.
Because he was in the tournament.
Exactly. And, as I said, Rex joined me yesterday. And I know that I should say, I know I get pushback when I do the Scotty is Tiger thing, but it does kind of feel like there's just this thing going on with him that we haven't seen maybe since Tiger. And then every time I say that, I see a stat pop up that just cracks me up. So Scotty became the first player since Tiger to have back-to-back 5-win seasons on the tour, and the only golfers in the past 40 years to do that. The problem is Tiger did it in 99 and 2000, 2000, 2001, 2001, 2002, 2002, 2003, 2006, 2005, 2006, 2006, 2007. Our guy did it 6 times over the course of an 8-year span. So, every time I'm like, hey, it kind of feels like Scotty's doing the Tiger thing. You see something and you realize that Scotty's got to do it for another 5-6 years before it is applicable. But are we inching closer and closer to, I guess, what I'll say feels like a historic run from the best player in the world right now?
We are. And look, we're in the third year of Scotty putting up Tiger numbers. In the first year you do it, you go, okay, Jordan, Rory, others have done that. Justin Thomas has done that. They've done it for 1 year. Second year, you go, okay, wow, that's 2 years. But the third year that he's doing it, which is where Scotty Scheffler is now, you have to really start paying attention and really start saying, wow, now we are talking about the kinds of things that Tiger Woods did. Now, the next point is exactly the one you just made. Tiger did it for a long time, basically a decade. And it is almost unimaginable when you, I mean, every time you lay out the arc of Tiger's accomplishments, it's just breathtaking. But Scotty is doing that now. And there actually are some statistical accomplishments that Scotty is beyond Tiger. Never once before this year has anybody, including Tiger Woods, ever gone into the Tour Championship in the top 20 of the top 5 strokes gained categories. Strokes gained off the tee, strokes gained around the green, strokes gained approach, strokes gained putting. Scotty Scheffler is in the top 20 of all of those strokes gained categories. It is astonishing. He is absolutely in a group of one right now in terms of where he is playing, and Tiger lived in a group of one. That's the ultimate comparison. Now, can Scotty Scheffler do it for the next decade? Can't wait to see, but that's the question.
Before we get to the Tour Championship, this is one of these golf, like historical elements that I'm going to need you to kind of educate me on, and it's going to be a simple question with not very simple answer. What does Bobby Jones mean to the game of golf?
Oh, so much. It's so deep. Every player who has ever mattered since Bobby Jones will say that they were inspired by and they want to be like Bobby Jones. Bobby Jones ushered in many ways, the modern game. Bobby Jones was a dominant superstar in a way that the sport has never seen. He did the Jim Brown thing. He walked away at the top of his game at a young age. He was 29 when he left. He didn't play top-level competitive golf in his 30s or beyond, and yet he still amassed a record that's one of the greatest ever. But on top of all of that, Jones was an artist with a golf club. There was a beauty to his game, even with bad film, and it's black and white film, it's not video. Even with bad film from the era, you can just see there was an artistry to his game that is very, very rare. I'm trying to think right now if there's anybody around right now who has that level of artistry, and certainly Tiger on certain shots, Adam Scott in terms of the beauty of his swing. But no, Bobby Jones was an artist like none other, and he is just special in every way. Probably the most significant way is how he was the inspiration and the model for so many top players who have followed.
You know, what's wild to me is just learning about, because for our listeners, we're talking about this because East Lake is like the home of Bobby Jones, where he learned to play golf. But he graduated high school at 16 and went to Georgia Tech, majored in mechanical engineering. He decided that engineering was boring and went to Harvard to study English lit. Then he went to law school at Emory, passed the bar after 3 semesters. We know Bobby. And by the way, did he only compete as an amateur? Am I also understanding that correctly? Oh,
yes.
See, they're this is under the radar, at least for average sports fans, one of the most fascinating people in the history of sport that I've ever learned about. It's pretty wild.
No, I agree completely. I got on a Bobby Jones biography binge a few years ago and read 4 of them in a row. And yeah, I know it's obsessive, but it was very, very interesting. And you are so right to talk about his educational pursuits. He felt like he never could get enough education, like he never could know enough, but he He got the engineering degree, a master's degree in English, and a JD. Who do we know who does that? And this is while he was competing at the top level in the world in this sport. Unreal.
Yeah, it's pretty wild to learn about just Bobby as a person, what he meant to the game. I mean, he founded Augusta. Like, what's going on here? It's pretty wild. What his imprint has left on the game of golf. All right. As far as East Lake, the track. As far as East Lake, the course. Tell us about it.
It's an old school parkland course built around a naturally occurring lake that at the time was east of Atlanta. Now, of course, the metro area and the metropolitan boundaries the municipal boundaries have subsumed it. But you can see downtown Atlanta in the background from certain TV shots that they show. It is a hilly course. It's long. It's up to 7,500 yards now. They always had a lot of land there on the property because they got it when it was out in the country. And so they've had room to expand and grow with the modern game. It is a course that is demanding, but this week they are tearing it apart because of the rain. And what's happening is, because of the rain, the ball will plug in the fairway, and so they're playing lift, clean, and place. And so you give these guys a clean ball in their hand that they can put down on the grass just the way they want to, and you have them hitting it into soft, spongy greens. And it's like throwing a dart at a dartboard, and that is exactly what's happening. They are throwing darts, and they are going low, and there's a whole bunch of low scores happening right now.
There is, and they had to push the tee times up today for inclement weather this afternoon. And are we in for inclement weather all weekend? I mean, are they going to have to get creative on how to finish this tournament?
They're hoping that they'll get through to Sunday, but maybe. Now, they have the advantage that they don't have a big field to try to get around the course. We're not trying to get 150 people or even 75 around the course. We're trying to get 30. And they play in twosomes. If you need to, you can put 30 into threesomes and get around the course even quicker. But I think they'll be able to do it because of the small field. But yeah, they've got weather issues there this year.
Okay, so when it comes to the low scores that we've seen, ultimately, Tommy Fleetwood is still looking for his first win on the PGA Tour. And look, at some point, it's kind of like Cam Young earlier this year. At some point, you just feel like it's going to happen because obviously Tommy is that good. He just is. And he's won overseas. He's won everywhere outside of winning here. But there is something that's happened to him when he's had opportunities over and over and over where he's allowed it to kind of slip through his fingers. Our guy goes 7 under today, and he's 13 under, tied with Russell Henley for the lead. Are you feeling like maybe this is Tommy's chance?
I don't know why it wouldn't be, except that there seems to be some kind of gremlin sitting on his shoulder, right? Who knows what it is that gets in his head the last 3 holes on Sunday afternoon as many times as it has happened, but it has happened, and I have no explanation for it. But if he's in the mix coming down the back 9 on Sunday afternoon, I'm going to be cheering for him because I want to see him get over the top. And, Fleetwood has such a good attitude about all this. He said, wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be funny if after all this, the one I do break through on is the Tour Championship? And he goes, that'd be great, wouldn't it? And I agree with him. That'd be great. I like that you mentioned Cameron Young. We've got to talk about Cam Young today and what he did on the backside. Keeping in mind, he's hitting into soft greens with the ball in hand down in the fairway. So the trick to Eastlake this week is hit the fairway. The rough is long at 4.5 inches. It's thick and heavy with water. But if you're in the fairway, you can go at this course. Well, anyway, Cam Young hits all the fairways on the backside today. He shoots 29 with an average proximity of just a little over 6 feet, and he has 9 one-putts. Unreal.
Jeez.
I know.
So we should give a little love to Russell Henley, who's certainly not the longest player on tour, but once he gets within about 160, 170 yards, I've just been wildly impressed at his ability to find greens in the right place and give him a chance to certainly two putt, if not, make birdies. And he goes 4 under today after carding a 61 yesterday, and he's at 13 under with Tommy. This has been the best season of Russell's career. Do you think he can lift this cup? What do you make of the first couple of rounds for Russell Henley?
He totally can lift this cup. Look, he is one of the 6 who qualified for the Ryder Cup on points, and that's not an accident. Henley's been a top-flight quality player for a long time. He's kind of an understated, softly spoken kind of guy, and so he flies a little under the radar. His game is not spectacular, which is to say he hits it on the fairway, he hits it on the green, and then he two-putts and walks to the next hole. He doesn't give shots back. He's got a very simple, repeatable swing. I love his swing, but he's just not a flashy guy. And but he is absolutely a player who has every tool to lift the FedEx Cup. Absolutely, he does.
Okay, before we move off this tournament, I've got a couple other quick ones for you. As we approach the weekend, you're always good to tell us, based off of where the leaders are at and who behind them has a chance to win it. I mean, look, if you're willing to expand your mind to 6 shots, there's Justin Thomas and Rory McIlroy and Sam Burns at 7 under. If you're willing to only adjust your mind to 5 shots, there's a golfer named Scotty Scheffler who's 5 strokes back now heading into the weekend. But Tommy and Russell are 13 under. So how many golfers left do you think have a chance to compete over the weekend?
You're right to mention Scotty. Scotty did not have his A game today, and he shot 69. Shane Lowry shot 63. He is the big group at -7. Somebody out of that group is going to make a move. Might be Justin Thomas. Might be Sam Burns. Rory McIlroy's in that group. Scotty Scheffler at -8. He's 6 back. The one that really gets my attention is T4 at -10, and that's Robert McIntyre. He is explosive and dangerous. And by the way, you're probably hearing it here first. McIntyre will win a Masters. He will win at Augusta. And so he has a mechanical advantage. Augusta is set up to favor a left-handed golfer, and he is a powerful left-handed golfer with an ability to get streaky and to make a lot of putts. I am just 100% confident that Robert McIntyre will win a Masters, and I would be unsurprised to see him make a run on this tournament this week as well.
All right, Paul, moving off the championship, we are inching closer and closer to decision day for Captain Keegan Bradley. And this is a hot topic, man. I asked Rex yesterday, and ESPN today with their golf writers has a round table debating whether or not he should pick himself. And it feels like there's more momentum for support should Keegan do that as opposed to the other side of things, which is I know that you've been there, and I think a lot of people agree with you. But Scotty, J.J. Spahn, Xander, Bryson, Russell Henley, Harris English are the 6 players who have automatically qualified. When we hear the announcement, give me your best guess on what the 6 names will be.
Well, yeah, what a great thing. Let me first say that on Utah Golf Radio tomorrow morning, we will have the 2004 Ryder Cup captain Hal Sutton on our show.
Nice.
And we're gonna pose this question to Mr. Sutton and see what he has to say about it. I'm very, very eager to hear his thoughts from somebody who has actually sat in the captain's chair and knows what it means and knows what it takes. And he's played on 4 other Ryder Cups as well. He knows what it is to be a player. So, which ones make the cut? I think that first of all, that Keegan Bradley should not pick himself. I think that being a team captain is a big, big thing, and you want people who are focused on exactly being a captain and people focused on exactly being a player. I think you've got to look at the players in points who are right, starting at 7 and beyond. Right there, 7 is Justin Thomas, followed by Colin Morikawa and Ben Griffin and Maverick McNeely. I think those next 4 must go. And then after that is when it gets interesting. And the ones that I think are the ones that should go are also playing really well at Eastlake right now, and that's Cameron Young and Patrick Cantlay. Those are the 6 I would pick.
It's such a risk because if Keegan picks himself and it blows up, he will be under so much scrutiny. Now if it works, he'll be applauded as a hero. It's just a massive risk. But look, before I set you loose, a question about the fall schedule, namely the Bank of Utah Championship down at Black Desert Resort coming up in October. There are a lot of good golfers that did not make the top 50. A lot of good golfers that need fall points, including our local player, Tony Finau. What, generally speaking, maybe you're hearing some things about the field that you think we'll see down at Black Desert this fall?
Well, I've been texting with Tony's management, and as of yesterday afternoon, they had not made a decision. Tony had not made a decision about any of his fall series schedule, where he'll play and where he won't. So we just don't know yet what Tony will choose to do. Tony is solidly within the top 100. What he could do in getting points in the fall series, he can't get into the top 50. That ship has sailed, but he can get into 50 to 60, and there are some advantages there. So are those enough of an advantage to where he'll want to play him, or does he want to take a break? I don't know. I don't think he knows yet, so we don't know that about Tony. What we do know is that Patrick Fishburne from Ogden, from Fairview High School, from Brigham Young University, Patrick sits at 95 on the FedEx points right now, and he needs the fall series to solidify and assure his position within the top 100 to get his fully exempt card. He will be playing. I think it's a given that he will play at the Bank of Utah Championship at Black Desert, and we're going to get a chance to see him on Utah soil in a PGA Tour event. That is, Patrick will be on Utah Golf Radio tomorrow morning as well. I'm going to pose him that question.
Awesome. Before I set you loose, I know you've already kind of teased, but let's get a rundown of what's on the show tomorrow.
Sure. Obviously, Hal Sutton and Patrick Fishburne, as I've already said. We're also going to be talking with the six-time Utah Section PGA Women's Player of the Year, Haley Sturgeon, who is responsible for getting the Utah Women's Open to go to the Country Club of Salt Lake. We're going to get the backstory on that from Haley. And we're going to do a recap on Kihei Akina winning the Utah Open at Riverside, the youngest player ever to win the Utah Open, beating a 50-year-old record to become the youngest to win that tournament. We're going to do a recap on that.
Paul, thank you, sir, for the time. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll get you back on soon.
Looking forward to it. Thank you, Spencer.
All right, Paul Pugmire. Check out the show tomorrow, Utah Golf Radio, brought to you today by our friends at You Went to Golf. You Went to Golf PGA Update. You can crush it with tailor-made golf balls. TP5, TP5X are now 2 dozen for $95, and Speed Softs are 2 dozen for $45 at You Went to Golf. No long waits, no overpriced green fees, just pure golf. Play 18 holes for only $45 and $50 on the weekends at our good friend Stansbury Park. So right off of I-80, it's the Stansbury Park Golf Course. Whether you're a weekend warrior or just need to escape the office grind, this is your place. Head to Stansbury Park Golf Course and lock in your tee time before they're gone. Stansbury Park Golf, great rates, gorgeous greens, all just minutes away. Book your tee time now at stansburygolf.gov/golf course. That's stansburypark.gov/golf course. Our good friends at Stansbury Park. So the Tour Championship at East Lake, round 2 in the books. They had to push up the tee times today for some inclement weather this afternoon. And Tommy Fleetwood and Russell Henley are your leaders in the clubhouse at 13 under par. Cameron Young is at 11 under. Bob McIntyre, Patrick Cantlay at 10 under. Scotty Scheffler lurking at 8 under. And then a grip of really good players at 7 under par, including Rory McIlroy and Justin Thomas. 2 hours down, 2 hours to go. Trevor Riley's live in the studio during the 4 o'clock hour. Coming up on the other side of a quick break on a Friday drive right here on ESPN 700. All right, about to get weird on a Friday. Let's get weird on a Friday. I like getting weird on a Friday. Trevor Riley is live in studio for the next hour or so to talk some football and I don't know where he collects his mail, how he is operating as an adult in society, whatever else comes our way. Hello, Trevor. How are you?
You know, Spence, we've all had some public stories go crazy, right?
You think so?
We've had a couple. I mean, you've had a few.
I've had a few.
Okay, I've had a few,
Yeah.
and so that's how life goes, right?
It does.
It's rock and roll, like the song, right?
Yeah, indeed. Well, and, you've lived in the public eye now for quite some time, as have I. And when you're in the public eye and things get a little loose, folks, for some reason, are very interested in it. And then you just kind of do the best to move on, right?
It's just one of those things that comes with the territory.
Yes, indeed.
By the way, I want to show you something. Okay?
What do you got?
I just moved from Hawaii, and so I left some stuff there. And this great family, the Mamone family, Ricky Mamone, fighter, check him out.
Okay.
We're backing him now. That's Jackson State, baby, 2022.
Oh, nice.
And then I saw an article. I know the algorithm's listening because in my feed it popped up there. HBCU top 10. We got Jeremiah Williams and Jonas Fortillion. I coached them at Jackson State. Just a shout out to my HBCU guys, thinking about you.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I'm with the Islanders, it's kind of the same type of level of play where it's last shot you, we would say. But we got a game tomorrow, so I'm kind of excited about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it. So this is your national championship undefeated ring from Jackson?
Well, we lost the final game, okay? So we didn't put that on the ring.
I thought you were undefeated.
We were undefeated in conference play, but then they have this exhibition game called the Celebration Bowl. And
okay.
Yeah, we just kind of partied the whole week, I think, in Atlanta.
Well, that
twice.
doesn't count then. You were undefeated.
Yeah. It was a fun consolation, but we did lose that game. But I've been thinking about it, man. I've been thinking about my time back then and missed those guys. I'm excited for those two guys particularly to hopefully make it.
Now, last time you were here, I should actually let me rewind. You were not here when I walked out of the studio during a break, and Dylan came up to me and said, "Hey, does Trevor want his Super Bowl ring back?" Did you get your Super Bowl ring back?
I got it back, and it's a second place ring. So
it's the second
okay.
place ring.
It's for the kids.
But there's a lot of diamonds in that thing.
Yeah, there's a few. It was in my son's closet for 7 years.
Okay.
And they moved, and so he's like, "Hey, Dad, how about this?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll take that. I'm recruiting now. I could use that
for sure."
A little douchey here or there, but it works. I turn it around. Hey, man, last chance. And
yeah,
it's a weird thing, but we're passing around town. I think it's with Dave Fogergren right now in Highland. Okay, it's been with him for a week, but I don't have a lot of stuff. I'm kind of mobile right now, so I like to bury treasure and then go back and find it.
Okay, well, as long as you're keeping the things that are legitimately valuable close by, I mean, that ring, even though it's a second place ring, with all those diamonds, you could probably catch a little cash for it if you needed to.
Well, I quit going to Wendover, so I should be good for a while. I'm banned from Wendover.
You're banned from Wendover?
Yeah, I went there with my son and my business partner, and I lost 15 hands in a row. This was a number of years ago.
Okay.
I slammed a table. I think I broke it, and then I walked through the double doors, and I went and had food there. I was stopping on the way driving to San Francisco, and they said, "Sir," I thought I was getting an upgrade. They're giving me a room because I know I'd spent some money there. They said, "You need to finish your meal and immediately leave the premises."
Because you broke the table.
Yeah, and I said, "Well," and they said, "Let me show you this." Oh, I'm so sorry. And they said, "It's okay, all right. You donated a good amount to us that night, but you're not allowed in town anymore."
In town?
No, I'm banned from the city. Well, I mean, the
the
gambling
hell,
establishments I'm banned from, but I still can go there and play golf. A good course there.
Yeah, for sure. Were you playing blackjack?
I was playing blackjack.
Okay.
You ever lost 12 in a row?
Yeah, man.
It's happened.
I've had some long nights at a blackjack table. I've had some good nights at a blackjack table, but more often than not, it's the old saying: you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold. You got to know when to walk away, man. If you walk away, so what I do now, like we were in Vegas for Big 12 Media Days last year. And I very much enjoy throwing cards, too much. So I've got to be careful with it. So I sit down, I find like a $10 minimum table. I'm not trying to get weird. And over the course of a couple hours, I went up like $250, right?
Nice.
And then, I got to work the next day. So I'm just looking at the clock. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to play one $50 hand and see what happens. And then I'm walking away. I lost the hand, but I walked away with $200 and I played for like 3 hours, which I view as a big win.
I would say tremendous amount of self-control.
Yes.
I would have played back in the old days another 12 hours getting on a heater.
That's the problem.
And if you lose, it's almost more. Gambling is bad. I don't gamble anymore.
Neither do I.
I've retired from that. But, yeah, that whole time in my life, it was just not good, as they say. But they were nice to me. The people there were very nice to me. They could have arrested me probably. They
Sure,
were
yeah.
Nice. And,
yeah.
So anyways, I don't gamble, kids. Not good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, stay away from it. Actually, this is a funny story. We were going through Mesquite on our way to California, and I was with my girlfriend at the time and her family. And I was, I think, 18 years old. And back east, there is a spot close to my hometown where you can go get fake IDs in order to, buy whatever you need to, go wherever you need to. And I was never intent on using my fake ID. And this was far before the movie Superbad came out with the McLovin fake ID. But my fake ID said I was born in Hawaii, said I was 47 years old, and my name was John Starks.
Oh, my goodness.
The Knicks shooting guard at the time. That was my hero. And I had it in my wallet more as like a joke.
Yeah.
But we're in Mesquite, and I'm with my girlfriend's two brothers, older brother, younger brother. And we're walking around the hotel. Everyone's sleeping. And Brad, the older brother, was like, hey, let's just go pull some slots. I was like, yeah, sure. I'd never done it before.
Yeah.
Had a couple bucks in my pocket. So we're pulling like quarter slots, and I hit one for like, I don't know, $30, right? And it's a really cool thing, and the quarters start spilling out. This is way back in the day when you actually had quarters as opposed to how they do it now digitally.
This is like one-arm bandit you're pulling?
Yes, pulling the slots.
One-arm bandit.
And I'm like, sweet, I just made $30. And so as the quarters come spilling out, the security guard comes walking over because I obviously looked young. He's like, hey, do you have any ID? And like a moron, I pulled out my fake ID from Hawaii that says my name is John Starks and I'm 47 years old. And he looks at me, he's like, you have got to be kidding me. They arrested me. They took me to jail. My girlfriend's father had to bail me out to the tune of $500.
Wow.
It's the first time I saw a jail cell. It's not the spot.
How was Mesquite? Nice?
I like Mesquite. And this was in 1996,
Oh,
right?
So it's a dirt town, dude. They took you to jail in a dirt town.
They did. They threw me in a cell with 3 other guys, and I'm 18 years old, terrified. I'm like, is this Shawshank? Am I going to die tonight? But yeah, when it comes to gambling, it's like everything else. What you cannot moderate, you must eliminate.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Well, speaking of the weirdest place I ever got arrested, I've been arrested twice.
Okay.
Once I had some tickets. I was actually going to propose to my first wife. Got pulled over with Big Lay, Tom O'Vow.
Okay.
We both went to jail. Okay. We got bailed out by a great guy, a former player of ours, a teammate of ours, Colt Sampson. Okay, he bails us out.
Okay.
Interesting story, but that was cool. Coach Witt didn't like that phone call. Hey, we're going to be late to the
sure.
meeting. But I was on my mission. Okay, I'm in Sweden, and I'm driving. We're late getting home. It's 2-lane road back, and I'm just, I'm driving like I'm on the I-15, dude. I'm passing people, double yellow, and so we get pulled over, and the policeman and I kind of play dumb. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm the dumb American. He's like, you just wait, come here.
Mm-hmm.
This is in Sweden. It's 2007.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor Killian can vouch for this story. He was there. He presses play. He's like, watch this. He took him 40 minutes to catch me because it was a 2-lane road. So he was trying to catch me the whole way. He says, you're going to jail. He took me to jail.
Wow.
On my mission.
In Sweden. And
I just started praying. And it was nice. He said, you can sit in the front seat, but we're going to take you to jail. All right. And so anyways, these elders just begged with the guy, please let him out. And they let me out. But I was there for 5 hours in a holding cell in Skellefteå, Sweden.
What is jail like in Sweden?
Oh, they gave me some cookies. It was nice.
See, I was going to say, like, did you ever watch that show Locked Up Abroad that was on, like...
Yeah, I've seen it.
So, I mean, they tell horror stories of, like, what it's like being, like, in, like, a Mexican prison or, somewhere in South America or, like, Russia or something. Like, when you're traveling, you better obey the law of the land because an international jail cell doesn't really sound like the spot. But if you're going to get arrested internationally, maybe Sweden is probably the place to do it.
I could use a few months in a Swedish jail every once in a while. It was so nice. They were nice people. The Swedes are awesome. But don't gamble, kids. I'll just tell you, gambling, not good.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason why they build a new casino every week in the desert because we're all losing our money when we try to gamble, whether it's on sports or at tables. Entertainment purposes only. All right. Big day tomorrow.
Yeah,
big day tomorrow, Trev. What should our listeners know?
I think we got a good product to go watch. All right, Snow College has got 180 kids on their team. They're going to have some nationally recruited kids. We're going to have a few kids that you want to take a look at, and I think the product's going to be good. We got some speed. All right, we got 2 corners who look like NFL guys, 6'3", about 200 pounds, can run a little bit. We got our 2 tackles are over 6'6" and 320. Got a few quarterbacks that can sling the ball, but I'm excited mostly for that product. We're going to have junior college football in Salt Lake City. That's never really happened.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's happened in recent history. It's been a long time if it has happened. So that's the thing, and there's no other game in town. I think we're kind of kicking off college football here in the state of Utah.
You are. And now let's rewind a little bit for our listeners that still may not be familiar. You are the general manager. It's official. You're the GM of the Utah Islanders.
Yeah.
What are the Utah Islanders? What should our listeners know?
Yep. In a nutshell, we have an academic partnership with Salt Lake Community College. Now, that alone helps us become legitimate in at the junior college level because we are an official school now. But we also have opportunities for trade school. We have guys that are going to Utah or BYU who are playing with us because we're still a club team. With all that being said, we are servicing the local community here. About 95% of our roster is local.
Okay.
So that's another thing is you're going to come see some of the great players from high school in the last couple of years and where they've been, where they at. If you have time, we'd love to have you. Tomorrow, 7 o'clock, right, Zions Bank Stadium. You can buy tickets at UtahIslanders.com or at Utah Islanders. I think it's going to be fun. This is it, right? We haven't really recruited. We had 18 guys on the roster about 7 or 8 weeks ago.
How many guys do you have now?
We have over 50.
You have over 50 players.
Yes. And our offensive line, we got some size, right? We're going to average about 300 pounds.
Okay.
We got some size on the D line. I told we got some corners. So it's going to look like we're going to look good getting off this bus, right? Mm-hmm. Now how we play, we're going to see. We're hoping for the best, obviously effort-wise, but we're excited, and I think that we're motivated to play hard.
Tell me about some of these players and kind of some of their stories, because one of the cool things that I think you guys have going for you is there are just so many talented athletes that don't have the same opportunities that certain players do if you're born in a different socioeconomic situation, or if you're plugged into a pipeline when you're 12, 13, 14, then you're going to play for the high school, and then Coach Witt and Kalani will be able to see you. I mean, I've told you the story anecdotally before. The blacktop playgrounds in New York City are full of the most insanely talented basketball players you will ever see, but they were raised in impoverished communities. They come from ghettos. They didn't have opportunities to play AAU or high school basketball. Some of the greatest basketball players in the history of the sport, nobody knows about because they weren't plugged into the pipeline the way other people were. So this platform that you have, you're giving opportunities to really great athletes that don't have the same opportunities that maybe some of their peers do. So tell us about some of these stories, how you have come to meet some of these players and the opportunities you can provide people looking for something similar.
I'll just talk about my ride. I like to ride home with some of the players. Every once in a while, hey, give me a ride home. I'll feed you. We'll talk. So 2 nights ago, I got a ride home from our safety. He's from Carbon.
Okay.
Carbon, Utah, right?
Mm-hmm.
Coal miner. Been in the mine, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's also lost a child. I mean, this is a guy who's overcome, and he drives an hour and 20 minutes a day from Payson to practice.
Wow.
And so you talk about grit. I mean, that's inspiring. We got a Chilean kid, okay? Was at Texas Tech. It didn't work out. Then he was at the Ogden Jets, and then he was with another. He's been out in this country traveling around him by himself, trying to find a team to play for.
Mm-hmm.
We got a guy who played college basketball but has never played football. But then we also I got a guy who played at Iowa Central last year.
Oh, cool.
We have some guys now that aren't just these stories, but we have kids that have overcome a lot. And you said it, the west side of town is full of these guys. You know, we don't have the blacktops here, but we got the west side of town, I call it, right? And you know what I'm talking about, everybody out there. The west side of town, west side of 15, and interesting things go on there. And sometimes kids fall through the cracks. But we also have kids who are going to BYU, right? We have kids that are from St. George and from just great all-around structure, I would say. We have kids in all appropriate kids. I was with a kid last night. He's 26 years old. He works for the prison. He's an EMT. Great guy, man. He was a receiver in junior college. Now he's 6'5", 240. He's playing DN for us. We're trying a little longest yard there, right? We're trying to dabble in all places.
It. Yeah.
I'd say this first season, right, especially, we're going to have a lot more of these stories, but our goal is to be a legitimate big-time program. And you got to start somewhere, okay? We were late to start, but I think we've put together a pretty good roster, and our goal is to win every game, but our goal mainly is to help these kids go to the next level. We're not competing for a championship. We're competing for these kids to get picked up.
Well, and the old saying, like, the best time to start was 10 years ago. The second best time to start is today. Yep. You can only start where you start. How are people getting, how are you getting the word out? Like, when you hear from players, like, how are they hearing about this opportunity?
It's been just all over the place, right? From even talking to someone on the tracks, right? And then they talk to somebody, or seeing someone at church or the radio. I mean, this has been a great platform for us.
Good.
I think that people find out that we're serious, right? Because, these things, they come and go sometimes, Spence. How many times have you seen minor league football before?
Sure, yeah.
A lot. I was
yeah.
on a team, man.
Mm-hmm.
It was here and it was gone.
Yeah.
Right? We were sitting in a meeting, and Dennis Erickson's talking, and then all of a sudden I said, Coach, the league's been folded, right? That happened here a few years ago. So now that we're with the college, though, I just want to reiterate that to everybody. We are a legitimate academic – we have a legitimate academic partnership with Salt Lake Community College. So we're not backyard boogie. Okay, a lot of the stories you're going to hear now, they're interesting, right? The fact that we have kids that are willing to go as far, from South America, to come here to play football. We always have a saying around us: if you provide an opportunity for people to play, they'll come. Well, they say if you build it, they will come.
Build a dream.
A little cliche there, but
it's all right.
In all reality, this is what we've done, right? Chris Helin and his wife Jess, Screen Protect, that's our main sponsor. They've kept this thing alive over the years. It was a semi-pro team, and then Chris had this vision: let's get with Salt Lake. Why is Salt Lake Community College not have a football program? I mean, that's a question I'm sure, Spence, you've asked before, like why they have a great basketball program.
Great basketball program.
Their baseball program's nationally ranked this year. Why are we not playing football?
It's very fair.
So we're filling the void. And after this season especially, when our season ends, man, we're going to start recruiting, okay? And I think that we're going to have a good shot to really, really, really build a program when we start being able to really recruit.
Well, and this is a good time of year to talk about this because I would imagine there are people listening to the show that – maybe you're a parent or you're an uncle or you have a neighborhood kid who you feel like is a really talented player. Maybe he doesn't love class. Maybe he's not making grades. Maybe, he's gone sideways a little bit and won't have an opportunity to instantly go to Utah or go to BYU. And with the Salt Lake Community College partnership, you have the ability to offer them a chance to go to class and get some credits and get the grades up. And if they do that and then join your program and actually learn how to play football at a high level, the opportunities that they could receive as a result of that path seem to be pretty endless if you keep going in the right direction.
Here's a quick story, all right? So the Chilean guy, his name's D'Souza, all right? Great kid, great story. He has been doing this thing by himself, right? He's 22 years old, just traveling around trying to figure it out. A local guy here named Tom Bauer, he adopts him. He's, I'm your grandpa, right? Here's the story. He's like, I'm going to help you. So Tom introduced me to these guys, Black Ridge Fleet, right? They put together service trucks and all kinds of special trucks. Man, those cranes on the back of pickup trucks and the Napheed trailers. I mean, they work with the Garfs. Amazing, huge facility. It's where they used to print Deseret News, way out west, right? When the print industry went down, Spence, they filled it. They're doing trucks now.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, to get to the point, we were in there today talking to these guys, and they're full of technicians, right? They need guys that know the trades.
Yep.
We're offering that right now at our place. You can do a trade and still play football. That's not something that anyone else is really doing. I think we're the only one that I know of. We've gotten a few calls from other teams that are interested in our model, but the model is such that we can actually help these kids in the community right here. They can go to school here, play football here, and then we can put them immediately into a job.
Yeah.
And they say, well, that's basic for every college. Yeah, but now this is legitimate for us now. This is a real thing. We had to talk today about it. Hey, we want to have a partnership where we're linking this together. We need to send some of our technicians who are going to graduate. We want to send them to you guys. And so it's already kind of starting. The momentum is starting, man. I know. I'm so happy when I saw we have about 50 kids that are going to school. So that's a big deal for us.
It's a huge deal.
We got 50 kids in school, everybody.
That's cool.
Very happy about that.
So before we catch a break, we'll do some Utes coming up. Tell us all the info we need to know for tomorrow, what the scene's going to be like, what the atmosphere is going to be like, everything we need to know. Okay, live DJ. All right, it's going to be football game. It's going to be junior college. It's going to be, I think Snow College is nationally ranked. Mm-hmm. This is our first game. It reminds me of Jackson State a little bit, right? When we came into town, or when Dion came into town, we played an NAIA school from Florida, and Edwards Waters was the name of it. And ESPN came out for it, and it was one of those games where we just had to get a game that we wanted to get on the field. Mm-hmm. And this is kind of one of those things where we're just excited. This is our first game as an official college football team. So I would say you could expect a lot of excitement, right? First games, there's always crazy stuff that happens, and we're hoping to minimize that, but they say the biggest improvements between the first and second game. So both of us, this will be a first game. And then I would say you're going to see great effort, right? You're going to see some great effort from kids who are local. And it's going to be a fun time. So tickets can be found at UtahIslanders.com, yeah? All right. Low as $5, baby. Come on out. Bring the family. Roll on out if you're thirsty for some football. Starts at 3 p.m., is that right? Yeah, we got Brian Blecken at D.C. Nice.
We got Senny Valnuku, D-line coach.
Okay.
How about Steve Savoy at receivers?
There you go.
John New, offensive line.
Love it.
Okay, so we got a bunch of former Utes and other guys in the community. We'd love to see you guys. Please come out.
Come on out. Starts at 3 o'clock tomorrow. UtahIslanders.com is where you go for information. All right, coming up, Trevor's been able to witness a little Utah football practice. We'll talk about expectations against UCLA and just kind of some Big 12 stuff. Trevor Riley live in studio for another big segment on a Friday show right here on ESPN 700. Like any good coach, it's time to update the game plan for a healthy green lawn. As the hot weather continues this month, make sure you're using IFA's Step 3 Summer Lawn Food. For healthy turf that stays green in every season, IFA's Step 3 Lawn Food, it's the ultimate lawn owner power move at IFA. Trevor Riley, one of the best to ever do it at the University of Utah, a longtime NFL vet, now the general manager of the Utah Islanders, is live in studio. Go to UtahIslanders.com. It's the Fire and Ice Bowl tomorrow, 3 o'clock to 10 o'clock at the Zions Bank Stadium. Yeah, out in Harriman, that's where it's at.
Yeah, it's a great facility. The women play there, okay, and the indoor is used by everybody in the community. But come on out. We're the first secondary football, I call it, in Utah this season, I think. Right?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So food trucks, right? So you can feed the kiddos.
Yep. Food trucks, and we got good ball and a live DJ, and I think it's going to be exciting. It'll be fun.
There you go. I like it. So head on out and support this new endeavor. All right, Trev, you have been able to spend some time up at practice for the Utes and talk to some players and coaches. And I don't want to speak for you, but you feel pretty confident that this year is going to go well for Utah football. Yeah, is that fair to say?
I do. I think that NIL has been weird. I think Utah has kind of figured out how they're going to handle it right now.
Okay.
And I feel like the kids are motivated. They got a chip on their shoulder. Last year was not acceptable, and even the year before was kind of a letdown, right? So this is kind of I think it's going to be a good season. I think the luck is coming our way. We're going to stay healthy, right? The breaks are going to go our way because sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes you get a double whammy where the ball doesn't bounce your way and you get hurt. I feel like this is our year, and I think we got a good quarterback. He's poised. That's the word I like to use with him. He's poised, and obviously we got Morgan Scalley. Okay, we got Coach Witt and Morgan Scalley. We got Jason Beck. I like our three-headed monster there. I think those three guys are as good as anyone in that conference. I really believe that.
Yeah,
man.
no, I'm with you. We had Morgan on last hour. It's good to catch up with him for a little bit. Do you think Morgan is chomping at the bit to take over? I didn't want to ask him that. And look, obviously, Coach Witt is Coach Witt, and he has earned the right to tell us when he's done. But I have to imagine at some point, if you've been told, like, you're next for a lot of years, at some point you want to be next.
So after we win all our games this year and we go to the playoff and have a great season, right, when we have a reunion of this team in 10 years, we need to sit those two guys down and let's have a real conversation. What was really going through your head right before week one, Coach Scalley?
Yeah.
And I think we can all feel and read between the lines there. He probably wants to be the head coach, but I think he understands, this happened before. Remember John Pease?
Of course.
Coach Witt brought John Pease back after Kalani left for one season. And I always reference that. He did it, and it worked out, right? Morgan ended up taking a lot of that work and doing most of the work, in my opinion. Probably John was a little old. I think John was in his late 60s at that point. But anyways, it's not the same exact thing. But, again, Morgan's going to have his time. At the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody tries to poach him.
Another team makes him an offer.
Dude, if you're running a top 10 defense every year, you're going to eventually someone's going to offer you enough money where you're going to think about it. At least I would. Yeah,
I mean, it's like there have been rumors that like SC wanted him as their D coordinator. There have been rumors that some smaller schools, when he was a little bit younger, wanted him to take over as the head coach. And look, there is precedent for this. There have been other, quote, head coaches in waiting that just got sick of waiting and wanted to be a head coach and so took opportunities elsewhere.
Do you remember Texas? Mac Brown and my man Muschamp.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, there you go.
Florida, I think he took that gig.
That's right.
Anyways, I am hoping that it works because I love both those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, Kyle Morgan basically raised me when I was 21. They made me into not as a crazy person as I could have been. They smoothed me out, but and not enough talk about Kyle too. I think Kyle, his in-game decision making, right, is as good as anyone there's ever been in the game. Right? He's had a few fumbles, but not really. The only one I can think of is that Washington game, right, where years ago. Someone will remind me about this with the exact situation, but timeout, and then they scored on some player.
Oh, yeah.
That's about the only time. And even that, I would have done the same thing. This guy is a master of in-game decision-making, and then you got Morgan, who's a genius on defense. And so I think he's probably waiting to see. I want to see if I can do this on the whole team because he's kind of mastered calling defense, dude. And he's really, really, really good. Like, really good.
Morgan?
Oh, he's...
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And he's second to none. So I think there's some... You asked me how that's going. I think some of those feelings they'd be in my head. I think I can do this for the whole team. But at the same time, you got Kyle, who's still coaching his rear off.
Sure.
And so it's this weird thing. I don't know, man. I think Kyle probably wants to stay as long as he wants to stay, right? He's not like sticking it to anybody. He's just like, I want to keep coaching and I have it in me. And Morgan's like, well, I guess I'm here. But again, how much money would it take? All right, let's put you in that shoe, Spence. If someone says, hey, I'm going to give you $7 million a year, can be the head coach.
I don't know the specifics of Morgan's contract when he takes over, but that's close to what Kyle makes, right? So I think it would have to be a lot more than that for Morgan. I think it would have to be more than a couple mil. I think it would have to be, closer to like 9 or 10 mil.
So let's say they come out and have a top 5 defense this year. We make the playoff, right? We make a run. Someone's going to come knocking, I would bet.
I think it would have to be a big job. I think it would have to be a Big Ten or an SEC school. I don't think he would jump to another Big 12 school. I think it would have to be, like a big college football brand that has a very safe landing spot, regardless of what the future of college football looks like. Because, look, if we're honest here, I believe that both Utah and BYU are in a safe spot, both currently and in the future. But I know that the list of schools ahead of them are. So if it's one of like the top 20 blue blood programs in the country that has a landing spot in the Big Ten of the SEC, that has done their calculation on Morgan Scalley, they decide they want to jettison a head coach, and they say, we're going to give you a 6-year, $65 million offer, then if you're Morgan, you have to look at that.
It's just one of those things that we're talking what if, but the weirder things have happened.
Of course.
And we're talking about Texas again. That guy left Texas, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You're coaching waiting at Texas?
Yeah.
That's a big – Utah's a good gig. Don't get
Sure, yeah.
Texas is an unlimited coffers, dude. They got funds. They got so much money. I don't know what to do with it relative to the sport. So I just think I'm waiting to see. I think I'm waiting to see, but I believe this team this year is going to have a fantastic season.
Yeah, I do believe that Morgan is the ultimate Utah man. He never even considered going anywhere else, even though he was an insanely awesome high school running back that probably could have played anywhere. He wanted to play at Utah. He's wanted to coach at Utah. And my true belief is the dream job for Morgan Scalley is to be the head coach of Utah football. I do wonder if do you think Morgan knows when Kyle is done? Do you think there's a plan in place that none of us really know about?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't even know if Kyle. Some days you want to coach, some days you don't.
Uh-huh.
I kind of retired from coaching, and I was not even close to these guys' resume, but I had done it for a few years, and I didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And even now, I'm not really coaching now. I'm general managing, but sometimes it happens that way. At least in my own life, I can only speak for myself. I woke up one morning, I don't want to coach anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that may come back, but Kyle may have that one day. It could be at the end of the season. It could be he's not that old.
No, we'll see. And the other thing about that, like, he's not that old, and he's young for a 65-year-old. Like, He keeps himself in good shape. He does not look like he's aging at all. And every time I see him or talk to him, he has that same energy that he did when you were playing for him.
He's sharp, man.
Yeah.
He's still sharp as a tack, right? And I think he's evolving with this NIL, and he's got an unbelievable staff. So it's just there's a lot of drama. All right, there's storylines here, okay, and what's going to happen, right? And God forbid we lose a few. Right now, that's when things get all crazy around. People start talking smack and all this stuff, and people start having opinions. So I'm rooting for a playoff bid. Okay, well, how many is it? Is it 12 teams this year?
12 teams this year.
I'm rooting for a playoff bid. I'm telling you, we need to manifest this to Utah. We need to be in that playoff this year, baby. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it'd be great. And the other thing is, in the history of the sport, there have been coaches that have aged out of the job that just don't want to go away. But that's just not Kyle. It's just not who he is. You don't get the feeling like obviously the Penn State stuff with Sandusky was awful, but Paterno had aged out of the job far before he got forced out.
Let me tell you what, dude. Joe Pa was in the box, right? Didn't even have a headset on.
Uh-huh.
Right? God bless the guy, right?
Sure.
But there's rumors he had a drinking problem. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are rumors. I can't substantiate that. These are just locker room talk.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just so there's guys like that, and I'm crapping on Joe a little bit only because That's not good, right? You can't be drinking on the job
Sure.
if that's a real thing, and
Sure,
you can't be not coaching if that's a real thing. And so nobody wants to see that. I don't think Kyle's anywhere close to that.
No, not at
Nowhere
all.
Close to that.
I mean, really, that's my point. Like, if he wanted to do this for another 3, 4, 5 years, he's fully capable of doing it. I don't think anybody argues that.
It's just about in Swedish they say orka. Does he really have the effort? Does he want to put the effort into? Does he want to spend the time?
Yeah.
And I mean, he seems sharp as a tack to me. So it's just a lot of storylines. What if the OC? What if we have a top 10 offense? Okay, then the OC is going to get looked at. And it's just how it's a natural progression. And so I could see a thing where both coordinators could leave at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Not because of animosity, but if we have that good of a season, everybody, that's what happens, dude. People get promoted.
Ohio State has a new staff, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you win championships, your coordinators are going to be poached. Detroit didn't even win the Super Bowl. They're replacing both their coordinators.
Yep.
Philly's had to replace coordinators every year. Of course, it happens when you have a great season. Do you think there's anything about the outcome of this season that would motivate Kyle one way or the other? Let's say you're right, and they go to the CFP. They win the Big 12 championship. It's a double-digit win team. Let's say they win 11 games. They go to the CFP, even win a game. Do you think that's a situation where Kyle goes, okay, I can leave this place in a very good spot for Morgan to now take the baton and run?
What I would do if I was Kyle, and this is if it was me, I've never spoken to Kyle. If that situation happened, I'd leave and take another job for more money.
Mm-hmm.
I'd leave and go on and say, all right, I'm starting over.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And this is my real retirement now. I'm going to spend the next 7 years, right, hanging out in South Florida or wherever the heck it would be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or go to L.A. and take that SC job. That's going to open up maybe. That job's going to open up if they don't win this year, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I really believe that.
Yeah.
And they love Kyle Whittingham. They've been talking about K-Dub for a lot of years, right? His dad was in L.A. with the Rams and the Raiders. Kyle's from there. I wouldn't be surprised if they brought back the old school, right? So there's a lot of options when you win.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of options when you win. That's what I would do. You said about me, I'd leave Utah, and after I'd win all those games, I'd go take another gig. That's a weird take, but that's what I would do. I'd go, come on, Morgan. I'll see you in the trenches. Let's go.
That is such a wild visual to picture Coach Witt on one side coaching against Morgan, coaching the Utes.
No, we want to see that, though. That's how much success we want to have. We want to have these 12-win seasons, guys. We want to see coaches move on, right? This is a program where that has not had a lot of coach attrition. Who leaves?
Yeah.
The assistants aren't promoting themselves to be coordinators because they love living here. They love working for Coach Witt.
Mm-hmm.
They don't leave. Man, Jim Harding's been there since 2014.
Yeah.
Gosh dang it.
Yeah, Coach Ludd, for all the conversation, like, oh, he elected to step aside. No, he didn't. Like, Andy was clearly asked to find something else to do with his time after the offense couldn't figure it out. Talk to me about, at our Utah football VIP event, you addressed the group and talked about just the sheer size of the O-line, like how big these kids are.
Guys, when we get off this bus, right, we're going to look like we're an NFL team. We're going to look like an NFL Pro Bowl team as far as the offensive line. They're huge. They're well-trained, right? They don't have guts. These are big. Remember Nate Solder?
Sure.
Okay, played at Colorado. He was our left tackle for the Patriots for a number of Super Bowl runs. He had like a six-pack at 300 pounds. He was like 6'8". He used to beat me in gassers. Right? It was kind of embarrassing. That's why I was a backup. We had guys like Nate Solder. But we got guys who look like that, right? I call them freak shows. You find them at freak shows. Like, look at this guy, man. He's running, and he's 6'6". He's 320 pounds. He's got some abs. Like this, these guys have done a great job recruiting, right? Lomu, right? Highland High School, right? Jim, I'm still waiting for my Christmas card. He played for my brother, right? I say, hey, you can check this kid out. Then they got Kump at center.
Yep.
Okay, there's another 5-star. And then the other tackle, they got this kid Fano, who he better be good. We're paying him, right? And then so these guys are all potential. I call them top 100 guys. Top 100 to me is that. First 3 rounds, right? To me, the first to third round is really, you can, if the team likes it, they take you. If they don't, you drop to the second or third. We got 3 guys on the offensive line, and maybe 4. One of them guards. I don't talk a lot about guards because they're whatever, but we got 3 guys who are maybe top 100. We should win a lot of games, Spence, if we stay healthy. We should mow people over.
Well, and Michael Mokafisi has 33 starts.
Yeah, man.
And we don't even
get a look.
We don't even talk about him. Like ESPN ranked their top 100 players in college football this week. Spencer Fano came in at 7. That's regardless of position. That's not the 7th best tackle in the country. That's the 7th best player in the country.
And we can. He reminds me of Sewell a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Panay, he's just a freak athlete, man. And I coached his brother Nephi. Those guys don't grow on trees, man.
Yeah.
These are like Haloti people. Right? And talk about Morgan. Morgan used to tell stories about Haloti in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And John Pease told me, this is a rumor story, but it's kind of a cool story. His parents approached him about skipping college. Is this a thing where we can skip college and just go right to the league?
For Haloti?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And I wasn't around for all that stuff, but I know that these guys, when they come around, man, Garrett Bowles is another one. I trained with him, all right? I remember training with him at Dave Stroshine's place. He was a freak show. He was at Snow College, and this guy was there for a semester. He walked in and said, hey, can you get me insurance? I'm going to the draft after this. And we kind of laughed, and we were like, what? No, he was as built. So Utah's had the state of Utah. We've produced some monster guys that can move. And I think Haloti, is kind of the standard there. When you think about guys, we might have 2 of those guys on this roster. That's wild to think about at Utah, man.
Tell me, you were mainly a linebacker for Utah, but you were did you play a little DN?
No, I played DN on third downs.
Play DN on third downs.
Third downs, or if we played a 10 or 11 personnel team, and I played DN.
Okay.
But to your point, defensive end is a fighting position. Right? It's just fighting, right? Offensive tackle and DNs, you fight each other for an entire game.
Yeah.
It's gladiators, okay? So I'm kind of a more off-the-ball guy. But John Pease, right, and Kyle Whittingham, that the greatness of Kyle, they made me get tough. Right? No, you're going to do this, dude. You're gonna go against Zane Beatles every single day.
Yeah.
Okay? And it was refiner's fire. We sharpened each other. Caleb Schlotteroff, right? I used to headbutt him in the face, right? I had no chance to beat these guys. So you start becoming kind of a dog, right? And so you can imagine how our defensive line is going to look.
Well, that's
who they're training against, dude.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I wanted to ask you, because on a couple of different occasions last year, after the BYU game was one of them, Coach Witt himself said, we are losing the battles and the trenches, which is not something you hear Kyle say about his lines. Now, there were some health issues last year with Logan Fano and others going down. So all of us are on the same page that this O-line is going to be incredibly dominant. But what about the other side? What have you seen from the front on the other side?
There's a guy on there who's about as old as could be Viamahe.
Okay.
I coached him. All right. That was a long time ago. I think we recruited him in 2018.
Okay.
He's in there. He's the center. He's the heart and soul of that defense, in my opinion. He's the guy who's been there the longest. Then they got Barton. Okay. Barton's going to be all over the field this year.
Yep.
Then they got the other Fano boy. So those 3 guys in particular, old, strong, great athletes, and they're training against these monsters on the other side. On paper, we should light it up, dude. I'm telling you, we should be lighting these dudes up, man. You remember 2018, we were playing cover 2 on first and second down with John Pennicini, Lecky Fotu. We were killing people, man. That's the type of – I see that type of personnel. We don't even have to blitz that much. We'll light you up with a 4-man rush. And those are the defenses that scare you, because then what do, dude? We were playing cover 2 on first down, second down, giving up – 3.5 a down. We were killing people.
Yep.
Scally, we had those guys dialed in, man. So I think I'm looking for a repeat performance, 2018 defense, maybe a little better.
Okay. All right. I do like the confidence. What about the balance before I set you loose on offense? Look, they've got 2 running backs they like a lot. They've got a quarterback that can run like the wind, and we saw it last year. I just continue to be a little skeptical because Devin's passing numbers weren't great a year ago, and I just don't know about these wide receivers. I just don't know about them.
Well, that's always the thing about Utah. We don't know. Okay, Bailey just showed up, dude.
Right.
Hey, I'm here, man.
Right.
And obviously he just got traded, by the way.
He did to the Saints, yeah.
But we've had a history of pulling receivers out of our rear end. Okay, when the time is needed, we've pulled them out. Right. We've had a few of those guys. There's this kid number 18. I don't remember his name, but he transferred in late. Or he's a recent guy. Tall kid can run, right? I saw him at practice. He looks pretty good. I think we got this slot receiver. I don't know. I don't know the names. But light-skinned guy, slot receiver. Maybe he's a white guy, slot receiver. He's good. But the quarterback and the system, to me, is what really is going to work. My only question mark is at running back. And no one's talking about the tight end room. Fred's got 4 of them. Fred's got 4 of them, dude. We had 4 of them before. Remember we had Cole. We had Brandt. We had this guy, remember Dalton Kincaid?
Sure.
And so we had some guys that could do it, but the running back room I still don't know about. I think Mark's going to have those guys ready to go. We always seem to have a good back, but Spence, running back, right? If we can run the ball for 5 yards a carry on first and second down, 6 yards a carry, watch out.
Do you think we'll see balance, though? Because part of me feels like we're going to see a rush-heavy attack.
Well, they ran for 3,000 last year at New Mexico.
Yeah. Yep.
So I think the coach would like that, right? We're going to have up-tempo spread run game. But again, this quarterback, he's accurate. All right, I know last year was whatever, but with this offensive line and this run game, I think we're going to have. I think he should complete over 65% of his balls. All right, just to be frank, and I think he should probably have close to 20 touchdowns passing.
Okay.
Those are marks I'm looking for.
If that happens, it'll be a successful year.
I think so.
All right, buddy. Great to see you. Have fun tomorrow, and whatever you need, let us know, okay?
Thanks, Spence.
All right, the great Trevor Riley. Before we catch a break to get into the 5 o'clock hour of the program, we welcome in Ryan from the Dish Professionals. Football is here. It starts tomorrow. If you're a sports fan and you don't have Dish, I can promise you're doing it wrong, because I did it wrong for a number of years. Made the switch a few years ago, saved a bunch of money, have everything I need at my disposal. You can also save money with great internet solutions by dialing 801-424-DISH. What's going on, Ryan?
Spence, I can't tell you how excited I am about hearing that conversation with Trevor Riley. That is that's what this is about. We want to watch football. We love football, and that's why we listen every single day. And our goal is to let's make sure you have it on TV, and let's make sure that DVR is auto recording your BYU and Utah games, every single one. If you're there at the game, if it's a good game, you want to watch that game. Well, if you have Dish, it's going to be on your DVR automatically. We're going to throw in 3 months free, 2-year promotion, 2 years of credits. It guarantee is $30 plus cheaper than what you're currently paying. Call us up and take advantage of this. We're going to get you set up with the best DVR out there. The Hopper system is phenomenal. That it will integrate the whole concept of all traditional TV, DVR, all your recordings, plus have all the streaming built in one remote. It's simple and easy to use. It memorizes all your passwords, so you put them in once, you're dialed in, you just watch what you want to watch. Have the best system, pay the lowest price, and that's what Dish is all about. And this 3 months free offer is the best I can tell you ever. And I've done this for 23 years. This is the offer you've been waiting for. So don't wait another day. Call us up. Take advantage of that. We'll throw you in dinner at JCW's on top of everything. Have you installed for free next day. Plus, internet. Guys, this is something I have spent hundreds of hours on working on. I have essentially every internet provider available at my fingertips, where we'll get you the price that you would get if you called them. But you can call us, and we'll get you and say, hey, we have this, and this, and this option. These are the prices. This is what we can do. What kind of speeds you want. We'll line them all up. Packages start as low as $20 a month. We'll have you set up with that. If you're spending $80, $90 a month for internet, you're paying too much. I call us. Even if you have fiber, it's honestly, fiber in a lot of areas are deregulated, so you can just pay a different company, use the same fiber, and pay $30 a month less. But you got to call us and let us help you. We'll save you money, upgrade you, have you install as early as next day, throw in dinner at JCW's, gives you 3 months free. Call right now, 424-DISH, 801-424-3474.
All right, there he is, Ryan from the Dish Professionals. 3 hours down, 1 hour to go. The 5 o'clock hour of the program comes your way next on a Friday afternoon. Happy Friday to you right here on ESPN 700. All right, we're going to check in live in Dublin with Chris Kamrani. Week 0 gets rolling tomorrow with Farmageddon, Iowa State, K-State coming up in just a little bit. But my friend Jamie Kearns, the general manager of Ketos Brewing, is live in studio for the final time. Jamie, I'm so sad, but how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
It's good to see you. All right, let's start with an update on the new spot.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's not the main reason you're here, but we're working towards a new Ketos Brewing location in Sugar House. Where are we at with that?
We are still just so close.
Okay.
So close.
Okay, like how close?
Hopefully a couple weeks.
I don't think most people understand how difficult it is to open up a new place like this, right? It's a labor of love, if nothing else.
It is a labor of love. A lot of city inspections. I'm still waiting for the city to do a final stamps on a couple things. And
Okay.
then I can do the final inspection, which leads to the certificate of occupancy. So it's more red tape things.
One step at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Remind us where that new location will be when it opens.
1533 South, 1100 East.
So right in the heart of Sugar House.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. Well, for now, you do have a location that is open, 608 West, 700 South, in the Granary District, and it sounds like you guys have some pretty cool things going on at Granary right now.
Yeah, and in the next coming weeks, I am a member of the Granary District Alliance Board.
Okay.
And we, as the Granary District as a whole, just like helping out our neighbors. So like tomorrow, the Bike Collective is doing a bike prom. And for those who don't know, the bike prom is just a fundraiser for the Bike Collective to try to help them offset their costs of their cool, amazing building and what they do.
Okay.
It starts at Liberty Park, ends at Woodbine Food Hall, which is also in the Granary. Tickets are available to purchase online. It starts at 6, goes until 11. Huge party. It's prom themed, so make sure to wear prom-themed items. Super fun. On the 27th is Huda Fest.
Okay.
27th of September, is Huda Fest. And for those who don't know, Huda is a huge wooden troll on 4th West and then 7th South. Lives on the abandoned train tracks.
Okay.
So we have a fest every year to show off our local artist, who is Garth. He's also on the board.
Okay.
His wood shop is in the Granary District.
Shout out Garth.
Yes. So we want to support him and show him off. And we'll have a full beer garden, food trucks, local artists doing live art things. We're going to have raffle prizes from Traeger, Fear Factory, all these other little local businesses within Granary District. So it'll be a lot of fun. It also coincides with Canna Fan Fest, which is being held at Granary Live, the music venue. So Ketos is doing a cannabis-flavored, will not have THC in it, cannabis-flavored beer for that event.
Important distinction.
It is very, because we are in the state of Utah.
Indeed.
So we are coordinating with them to make sure that both events coincide harmoniously to make sure that they are both very, very successful.
Where online can people go find the tickets to the events?
Bike Prom, you can either go to Bike Collective or they're also on Eventbrite. For Canna Fan Fest, you can go to cannafanfest.com or to granarylive.com, and Huda Fest is a free event.
So to be clear, Bike Prom is literally people dressed as if they're going to prom, riding their bikes around Granary, sampling beers here or there.
It is not sampling beers. That is a very tough road with the city to navigate.
For sure.
It is a closed streets event, so it's police escorts, and you slow ride through the city from Liberty Park to Woodbine Food Hall in the Granary, and then Drift Lounge will be open. So you can go to the bar or go to the food hall where alcohol is served, but in a restaurant environment.
Gotcha.
So you have to sit, they bring it to you. But it is an all-ages event.
Finally, Jamie, you have been kind enough to bring us some parting gifts because we are saying goodbye for now. We hope to see you back at some point soon. Ketos Brewing has won several awards, as we've talked about in the past. So before I set you loose, what'd you bring in studio today?
I brought, your favorite beer. So I brought a lot of that.
Indeed.
But then I also brought two of our gold medal winnings at the Super Bowl of Beer Tasting Championships. And then I brought our best-selling sour it is the best-selling sour in the state. And then I just brought some beers that I know people like for summertime. And one of the award-winning beers is the Coffee Cream Ale, which is just a great golf beer.
Very nice. Well, look, it has been a pleasure to get to know you. You have been a great addition to the show. Big fan of Ketos. And if we can ever do anything for you, please reach out and let us know, okay?
Will do.
All right, there she is, Jamie Kearns, the general manager of Keto's Brewing, a new location on the way in Sugar House. But for now, you can check out their location, their beer tavern and can shop, which is open 7 days a week, 608 West, 700 South in Salt Lake City. Then check out the event calendar for all the cool things coming up in the Granary District. Before we catch a break, we'll do some college football with Chris Camerani coming up on the other side. We welcome in Ryan from the Dish Professionals. Football season is here. If you're a sports fan and you do not have Dish, you are doing it wrong. You can save money and get everything you need in one place. You can also save a bunch of money on great internet solutions as well. All you have to do is dial 801-424-DISH. What's going on, Ryan?
Spence, super excited. We got a week. Football's here. College football is lighting up. We've got the regular season, another week out, and it's time to make sure you have your TV solution. Listen, call us up. In my 23 years as a retailer, current retailer of the year, I'll tell you right now, this is the epic promotion that Dish is doing with a 2-year promotion, 2-year price guarantee. We're going to throw in 3 months free of Dish's top package. This is a great deal. Listen, if you're probably going to save minimum $30 a month by making a switch. But we often see people $60, $80 a month that they're spending too much. I know it's painful and you think in your head, like, I don't want to deal with change. Let us come in. It's simple. It's easy. We'll lower your bill, give you the best TV system out there. It'll auto-record your games for all your favorite teams. So you go to a great Utah game, BYU game, you're set. Like it's automatically going to be on your DVR. You can watch it later. We'll get you set up with that. Throw in the NFL Red Zone free, with best football channel ever. Plus, we'll throw in Showtime and Paramount Plus free for 4 months. Yes, I said Paramount Plus because the Dish system has a full capability of having all the streaming apps. So you can even watch the NFL Sunday Ticket through the Dish system. You got to call us up, take advantage of this, get the best TV overall solution, the very best price, guaranteed, and dinner at JCW's. Plus, ask about our internet options. I spent thousands of hours putting together basically a solution. Instead of calling every internet company out there to find out what their prices are and if they even offer service at your address, we can tell you in a second, we have this, and this company, and these are the prices, these are the offers, this is what we can do. We'll get the best deal for you. And if you're spending a bunch of money, 60, 80 bucks, 100 plus bucks a month on your internet, and maybe it's not working well, don't put up with it. It's simple. Call us. And we have great tricks too, where we can make it so it's simple solution where every single one of your internet connected devices will automatically reconnect to the new internet. No problem. We'll got you covered. So call us 424-DISH, 801-424-DISH, 424-3474.
We go live to Dublin, Ireland, coming up on the other side to preview Week 0 and Farmageddon and do some Utes and some Cougars with Chris Camerani from The Athletics. So keep it right here on ESPN 700. Final weekend of the NFL preseason. Less than 2 weeks away from week one. It will be the Cowboys and the Eagles in Philly. Speaking of the Eagles, they're at MetLife tonight taking on the Jets. We've got Falcons, Cowboys tonight, Vikings, Titans. And then Bears, Chiefs, and Caleb Williams is expected to play for the Bears. And then, week one, September 4th. So right around the corner. As of tomorrow, we are 1 week away from Utah football and BYU football and Utah State as well. But, of course, week 0 gets going tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., so an early kick time on ESPN in Dublin, Ireland, where it'll be Iowa State and Kansas State. So football season is here. You guys made it. I know a lot of you wait all year long for this time of year, and fall is right around the corner, so fun time for us on the station, fun time to talk sports in this market. All right, Porter. One of the, you never know with the weather in the state. We could have beautiful weekends all the way up through October. You never know. But there's a chance that our warm weather weekends are dwindling as somebody who enjoys getting out into the wild and drinking water from pure sources and such. What do you have planned for this weekend? Anything fun?
That definitely taking advantage of, as you mentioned, one of the last weekends. There is a little bit of a storm front moving in. So
okay, all right, calm down.
Hey,
I'll
take advantage of it.
If it rains Sunday, I'm going to be mad at you.
Hey, don't be mad at me.
Who should I be mad at?
It'll be in the afternoon, though. I think you might be able to get you around it.
Where do you get your weather information? I just use
Farmers.
Farmers?
Yeah.
Like an app called Farmers or
No,
literal farmers?
Literal farmers.
That's probably reliable.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
We'll get some moisture, but I'll be outside this weekend enjoying what will be kind of the last real. Listen, I unplug when it comes off season time, right? So the sports stuff, I'll really start dialing into some hoops off season, some Utah roster stuff, some opponents, Big 12 teams. I'll start to watch a bunch of film and get ready for it because, to be completely honest, once football season is over, once basketball season is over, while I do pay attention to some golf and some soccer stuff, obviously we do the show every day, and that keeps me somewhat in the loop. I kind of turn off the notifications, the sports stuff, for a good portion of the summer. So I'm going to take advantage of that. And then next week, Spence, it's Utah football season, so we'll be full steam ahead.
And you will be hosting our Utah football pregame coverage once again. I believe that's official, correct?
We'll be live 4 hours before kickoff each and every game day. Brought to you by Red Bull. Shout out to Red Bull.
Shout out Red Bull.
Gives you wings.
It does indeed. Can confirm.
So yeah, we'll be live 4 hours before kickoff every Saturday. There'll be a mixed match of former Utes. I am excited to have Zach Moss on the show through some of the weeks. He's obviously doing some rehab stuff, so we'll take advantage of his services. Trevor Riley, Robert Johnson, the usual suspects. Maybe a stop in from Sly. I know Kenneth Scott, who we talked to on the show a few days ago, is going to be in town for the rivalry game. He's going to join me for that one. So, looking forward to it. I think 7 years now of doing the pregame show, and that's what I like. I like breaking down a defense and looking at an opponent and looking forward to what you're going to see on a game day, and that's coming your way, 8 days from right now?
Will you discuss the potential of UCLA utilizing the Spider 2Y banana?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
We'll get to it if you want.
Good. Do you think you could get a hit off a Little League World Series pitcher?
Yes.
So do I. I don't know why I brought that up. Every time I'm watching on TV, I'm like, I would rope off these kids.
Yeah. I mean, listen, there's a few of them, right? Here's the deal. We're watching Little League World Series, and this is the age where, 2 or 3 of the kids have hit puberty.
Right.
And they're, almost men. Some of those kids, I'm sure, could strike me out and sit me down, no problem. But there's a few teams that make their way into the Little League World Series, and you're like, okay, that kid's got a noodle arm. I could take him to the yard.
Yeah, I mean, I could give you a 2 for 5 double 2 RBI night off some of these 12-year-olds. I'm pretty confident in that.
Yeah, I need, maybe need some BP first.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
Get dialed in, but
sure.
I think I could hit off him.
Yeah, no, I do too. All right, Porter, before we say goodnight, what comes our way on a Monday edition of the show?
Yeah, a Monday edition of the program. It is officially football season. We'll have a recap Iowa State, Kansas State in Dublin. Stevenson Sylvester will join the program. Josh Furlong, our AP voter here in the market, will join the show. Bill Riley, the voice of the Utes, will join the program. We'll have some RSL on the show, and it's a Monday during college football season, so you know where I will be up on the Hill. Kyle Whittingham, his press conference, that'll come to you live on ESPN 700, and then, of course, you'll likely hear it back in the afternoon as well.
There you go. So we will say goodnight. Join us for a Monday edition of the show. Special thank you today to Chris Kamrani, live in Dublin, Morgan Scally, defensive coordinator for the Utes, Paul Pugmire for some tour championship talk and an hour-long conversation with one of the most interesting guys I've ever met in my life. That is Trevor Riley. If you miss any of the sound from the show today, you guys know what to do now. The touch points are ESPN700sports.com online. Take us on the go with our mobile app. That ESPN 700 app is available in the App Store and the Google Play Store. Then for what we do in our space, if you miss any of it, it's hard to be in your car for 4 hours every day. The good news is the modern day and age of consuming this stuff, it's all online on our podcast page. It is called The Drive with Spence Checketts. It's available wherever you get your shows. So subscribe, rate, review, say nice things in the comments, and give us all the stars. It actually does help. For Porter, I'm Spence, saying goodnight. Have a great weekend, guys. Enjoy yourself. Be good to yourself and be good to each other. Be safe out there. We'll talk to you on a Monday edition, a game week edition for the Utes of The Drive. And as always, you can find it right here on ESPN 700, 92 FM. We are proud to be part of Utah's ESPN Radio Network.